Welcome to Live at the Range and to a rainy St Andrews for the 150th Open at the home of golf. We are here to bring you all the action on the range as the world's top players prepare to try to win golf's oldest and greatest championship. Completely different weather conditions today. The rain is coming down, 13 degrees, 9 miles per hour, and it's a west wind today. It is Scottish weather, so expect the unexpected, and we did bring our waterproofs. We were told to bring clothing for all 4 seasons, and that's exactly what we've done. A lot of umbrellas up on the range as the players prepare for day 2, 18 holes under their belt. And we'll bring you up to date with who's shot some low scores. There were some low ones out there yesterday. Here with content creator and coach Peter Finch. Peter, very different conditions, but we did see a score of 8 under par yesterday. Some fantastic scoring.
Yeah, I think the early starters yesterday definitely had the advantage. I think there's only very few players up near the top of the leaderboard who actually went out in the afternoon. Just simply the wind picked up, and they might again be at a bit of a disadvantage because, as you said this morning, is very Scottish. Yeah, it certainly is. Let's have a look at the leaderboard and bring you up to date with who's done well. And a really fascinating story, Cameron Young. He's at 8 under par, a brilliant round. He's done so well on the PGA Tour this season, and yeah, a really good result at the USPGA Championship. We will speak about him in just a moment. Rory Mcilroy, 6 under par, fantastic score from Rory, who's out this morning. You were so impressed with him. He's looking very good. He's looking very good. I mean, he'll like these conditions today, won't he? Everything that is soft really plays into his favour because he does bomb it so far through the air. I've got to be honest, it is raining, but we're talking about rain going down onto a golf course which was so hard. It's going to soften it a bit, but there's still going to be plenty of roll out there. Yeah, absolutely. Cam Smith, winner at the Players' Championship, 5 under with Rob Dinwiddie. The Englishman qualified a couple of weeks ago. Great story there. Barclay Brown, the amateur, 4 under par. And the world number 1, Scotty Scheffler, 4 under. Let's move on to some of the other scores. DJ just walked past us. He's all in sort of beige waterproofs today. We'll assess his dress code in a second. A good score from him. And Xander Schauffele, who's on a run of wins, 3 on the bounce, -3. Bryson DeChambeau as well, -3. So let's have a quick word on Cam Young, -8. He came over here when he was 12, 13 years of age with his parents, and he said to his mum and dad that he wanted to turn pro after coming to St Andrews. Inspiring. He was inspired by the old course here. I mean, it is an inspiring place. Yeah. And obviously, you know, we all say things as children that we might not mean. But I think in this case, he meant it. He really did mean it, didn't he? Yeah. And if it is the case that this is the place that really inspired him to embark on that career, then he's going to be coming back here with amazing memories. Yeah. What did you see from him yesterday, and how much do you like his swing from a coaching perspective? I mean, there's a few things in there. I mean, there's a little bit of a pause at the top, there's a little bit of a redirect coming down, but to be honest, this year he's been playing some amazing golf. And it's always the question on whether you can then take that to a different condition course, because links turf is different. You know, this is a different challenge. Yeah. But his ball striking was absolutely amazing yesterday. He was hitting it heavy, not in a bad way. Like there was a real thud when he was striking it, and the ball was just absolutely exploding, especially with his irons. Yeah. It was impressive. I've never seen him up close before, and it was very good. He's had a brilliant season on the PGA Tour. A couple of second-place finishes, a couple of third-place finishes. If you're getting that close all the time, you're knocking on the door constantly, surely the door's got to open at some point. But this is a different kettle of fish. It is a major championship. Did do well at the USPGA, though, tied 3rd there, so he knows how to perform in the majors. I mean, what a wonderful royal and ancient door this would be to open and to walk through and become a major champion. This is the one they all want to win. Yeah. I mean, what a way to do it. Rory, is it his for the taking, 6 under par? Listen, Rory has a history of having a very good first round. Yeah. It's then if he then backs it up. That's going to be the key for me. Yeah. I mean, we all know he's a fantastic golfer. Can he keep the consistency going? Yeah, 63 opening round in 2010, followed by that 80. What can he do today, though? He had a great round yesterday. Some of the tee times are as follows. DJ, who, as I say, walked past us a moment ago, 4 under par his first round. Adam Scott came back with 3 birdies on his back 9, dropped a few on the front, so level par for him. And playing with the other Aussie, Mark Leishman. Moving on to the next tee time, which is, they're 12 minutes apart, aren't they? Scotty Scheffler, how did he perform?
He was very impressive. Obviously, he's the #1 golfer in the world. It's a throwaway thing to say, isn't it? But he was one of the best players in the afternoon wave. So through the most difficult conditions, he played some of the best golf. So you'd expect him to carry that on today.
Tyrrell Hatton, -2 for him on day 1. Tiger Woods, 6 over yesterday. He didn't start the way he wanted to. Matt Fitzpatrick and Max Homer. Max was +1 and Matt Fitzpatrick finished at level par. But let's have a quick word on Tiger Woods. First hole, what happened with the second shot?
Yeah, it found a divot with the tee shot, and he had a bit of a chunky one, and it kind of went in the ditch. I mean,
yeah, we'll talk about that in just a moment. Let's have a look at the other tee times. We've got one more page, I think, to have a quick look at, and then we'll go back to Tiger. Jordan Spieth, he finished in the red, which he'll be happy about at -1. He did look really frustrated. Looked like he was trying to find a few things yesterday. John Rahm was. Yes, he nearly he tried to snap his putter on 80. Well, he sort of imitated. He was wanting to snap it +1, not happy with his finish on 18. He can get quite feisty, can't he?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching him on the range yesterday, and he was chuntering to himself before he'd even got out on the course.
Yeah.
He was raring to go, and obviously it's not gone the way he wanted, and he can, I think in his own words, start to get fizzy like a Coke can that's shaken at times.
But it's good to release those emotions, and we all know exactly what he's thinking by his body language. But Tiger, you were speaking about his second shot on the first. It ended up, his tee shot ended up in a divot, which is never easy to play off.
No, and his approach play generally yesterday, it wasn't great, really. I mean, he is renowned for the control that he has over his irons. Yeah. And he just wasn't hitting his distances yesterday. Yeah. And he was missing greens.
Had quite a few 3-putts as well,
yeah,
didn't he?
It just felt quite flat. Like he couldn't really get anything going. And when he rolled that first birdie in, he lit his finger and that little thing. I don't know what you call that action, but it almost felt a bit ironic. Like he just wasn't that excited.
Are you surprised? Because when we saw him on the range for the first 3 days of practice, he was absolutely flushing it. He looked like he had every shot in the bag.
He looked good. He looked comfortable. Yeah. Obviously, we know it's different on here than on the golf course.
Yeah.
And Tiger Woods has had slow starts before in majors, but let's just hope he makes it to the weekend. Yeah. That's all I really want.
Yeah, very difficult to bounce back after a double bogey on the first hole when you're playing in the 150th. Really tough going. Let's speak about some of the other Americans. Jordan Spieth, I mean, I'd like to speak about him because I tipped him at the start of the week. What was he doing on the course yesterday? How comfortable did he look?
He wasn't looking too bad. The only problem with Spieth around this course is if he does get it going offline, with it being so firm yesterday, just to stop it, apart from a bunker and then the rough. And he was shaping everything into this fairway, so he was just chasing it on and out at times. He is a star player. He can get it going. And we all know if his long-range putting catches fire around this golf course, that's what you need to happen. But he's got to get it to the green in fewer shots. Very different conditions
here today. What can Tiger Woods do? Can he bounce back? One of the other great storylines, I'm really delighted to see Rob Dinwiddie, who qualified a couple of weeks ago up at the Fairmont, 5 under, nearly had a birdie on 17, and he did birdie 18. Great way to finish as it was night time, about 9:30 he finished last night. But so many different storylines. We're going to stay down here, Pete, and we'll roam up and down. But for now, let's get to the guys in the commentary box.
Well, it's a lovely dreich morning. That's what they would say here in St Andrews. It's sort of damp and dank, and the wind's light. It's not blowing very hard. It's left to right across the range again, Simon Holmes, and a gloomy start.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you always kind of get bits of weather coming zooming across. I don't think this is too ferocious. I don't think this really damages scoring opportunities, and probably not enough rain to soften the golf course, which is rock hard. So yeah, just a bit more faff, really, for the caddies, players, waterproofs on. Adam Scott just going through his classic routine, beautiful golf swing.
He didn't get too close to the razor this morning, I noticed, Adam.
Do you know what there is? I think it's a rugged look, isn't it? I think that's what it's called. It's a rugged look.
Well, he's so polished normally, isn't he? He's just so polished.
He's just so good.
Yeah. Did well yesterday, recovered on the back 9.
I think that's right, and I liked his shot selection. I thought he took on some of the hard shots and really executed them well. So from being sort of pretty far out of it, he got himself at least within touching distance.
Okay, you're the coach. Pick a hole in that swing.
I think that sometimes the shoulder plane gets too flat. That's the thing that he works on, and then the arms get too deep. But I mean, you know, would you buy that? You'd buy that swing?
I'd swap mine for that. I mean, there's.
I can see that.
I would say, Adam, listen, if we could do some sort of a trade here, and I could have your swing,
and he would have yours.
I would have his swing and his transport, and he could have my swing and my transport.
Yeah. We'd have to really work hard on that. We might need to boost that in the package.
Yeah, but who do you think's got the better part of the deal?
Lee. So, Adam Scott, driving iron, 4-iron possibly. Off a tee. Very tight lies. Guys just nudging it up a hair just to make sure they catch it in the sweet spot. Groove 4, not groove 3. Have a closer look here. It's so economical, isn't it? Like every single piece just seems to fit perfectly. Just looks great.
Busy day for the caddies. Certainly a busy morning.
Oh, I think that's right. I think that you know, the umbrella, the addition of the umbrella, if you've got to be carrying that is a pain. And then the towels, the gloves got to be dry. I don't think it's brutal. And it's not too difficult because it's not windy. So the driving iron is out, put probably in for this week. See that launch. Every finish in balance, every shot. Same pace, same rhythm. Never a sudden hit, no flash of the hands.
He's still clipping them off the tee, not hitting them off the deck. These last 2 irons that he's used, so it's almost like he's trying to be very shallow.
Yeah, he's not even hitting the ground there at all, though, is he? So just that little addition, maybe just tucking that right arm in a hair closer to his side, maybe keep it a little bit more connected.
The tee didn't even budge from the ground there. Did you notice that?
4 in a
now
row.
Stop it.
4 in a row.
Come on.
Here we go. Clipped.
Come on, take a divot. Here we go.
Tee removed.
Disturbed.
Only just.
Disturbed.
So.
That's how it looks down the first. Down the right-hand side. 250-yard carry, just about. And that would be okay there.
That would be okay, yeah.
Further right than most people would hit it.
Yeah, I don't know where is the pin? It's just 6 on off the right, isn't it? So I don't know where would you try it? It's not even a pin you can go for.
No, when
really.
you're on that tee box, you aim left. You're way further left than that.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. Right on cue.
17th green, is that a good line? Is that too far left for the pin today?
You can go as left as you want.
Just thinking what angle. You want to be quite far back, I think, today.
I think you need to drive it over the burn and chip back to the front of the green. That would be ideal.
Oh, you think just...
It's another front pin. Nasty.
Nasty indeed, Rob.
Yeah.
That would be a bold play to start your...
I think fairly bold.
Your Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see Adam Scott not thrashing these positional shots with a driving iron. Guys have put that in,
listen,
comes out flatter.
260 carry, and the air is very heavy and it's wet. That's pretty epic.
Oh, I think that's popped. 150 ball speed pretty much. So here you can see what you get there. 240 carry and a bit of run on these rock hard fairways. Been lightly doused with a bit of rain overnight.
You can see how hard the ground was. He had to really push to get that tee in the ground there.
Oh yeah, you can throw a ball. You can throw a ball down and you can catch it. It'll bounce straight back at you. So clipped. That long finish. Look how through the ball that right shoulder gets. Adam Scott, swing to die for.
Well, not really, Simon.
not totally.
No, I don't. I think that's exaggeration.
Okay, fine.
Yes, I do.
Okay, fine. Retracted. Picky. Swing to admire.
Better.
Okay, fine. Fractious. Okay, so Adam Scott just pushing as hard as he can to get a tee in the ground, get the right height. Fairway wood. Masters champion.
You know, he goes mid-60s, 66 today, out in the morning, hardly any wind. I know it's damp, but if he shoots 66, he is right in this tournament.
Oh, 100%, Robert. Absolutely. Tucking that right arm under. That left shoulder sometimes gets a little bit too flat, and then he kind of just loses those angles through the ball. Little bit of hips working underneath him as opposed to clearing. That's the thing that he works on. Adam Scott. He'd be a good Open champion.
Dustin Johnson playing with Adam Scott. He's into the woods already. Again, fairway wood. He's putting it on a tee.
Yeah, I think the guys probably feel as though driving is going to be absolutely crucial. They're not going to be hitting it. There's nowhere that Dustin Johnson's hitting a wood second shot, I don't think, with the golf course being so firm. So just a little holdy shot, maybe one of the ones he's trying to work out on the front nine. Claude Harmon, the third behind him.
So back to Adam. Has he got the driver out?
Just a little three-wood there.
Yeah, three-wood.
Yeah. Here we go. Line the guys up against each other, see what they got. So both using the same wood. Advantage Dustin Johnson by a tiny little bit. You can see that.
So, but more ball speed for Adam Scott, but almost 10 yards less carry.
Yeah, just a little lower launch. DJ clipping another one down there. That's a low launch, so he's just working on a little flat shot there, trying to shoot it out there. Maybe those tee shots on the front nine, just trying to keep it up the right side. Here we go.
That's pretty, you know, 255, 256, 1 mile an hour difference. That was pretty samey.
Another one there, three-wood. Adam Scott's probably a 177 ball speed guy with his driver. So this is just a three-wood, keeping it in play. That was the higher launch. You can see that apex for Adam Scott hitting up around 104 feet. Very little curve.
Second more is quite bizarre reading these, because the second more hang time, you would think, means more carry.
Yeah, it can be just the launch and the spin keeps it up there a little bit more. So Adam Scott's launching these 9 degrees. He's hitting them little higher. DJ's trying to hit little squeezy ones. Now we're into drivers.
Well, now we're going to see DJ smash one with the driver.
Let's see what he starts off at. Let's go
170.
I'm going to go 180 ball speed.
I'm going to go 170 ball speed here.
Okay, here we go.
And then he'll build it from there.
Okay, like that.
Okay. Okay, what was that? What do you think?
75.
Okay. We'll never know, I believe, on that one.
I'm probably right. That was the lower tee, so that was the slightly lower launch.
The fairway finder.
I think that's what that's called.
I think you'll find it was a fairway finder.
The nudger. So.
Don't think, to be fair, DJ's got a nudger.
Well, he's got different levels. I mean, he can certainly absolutely boom it. Great swing, isn't it? So athletic. Look at the posture, pressure in his legs. And that was a little bit more forceful. Let's see what that hits up. Yeah, 74. So these are not the full boomers. These are just little sliders up into the right side of the fairway. So he's obviously thinking the front part of the golf course. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What do you think about beige as a waterproof colour?
I can honestly say, Rob, that I have never ever thought about the colours beige on waterproofs, but let's think here. Matches, I suppose, his golf bag as a sort of thing. But interesting that you picked that up.
Well, I'm looking at the screen in the hole, in the round.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
I like that. Yeah, I have to say, I would have thought. I think blue and black are the colours for waterproofs, but a lot of people might call us drab, Rob.
No, I think you are being autobiographical there.
Thank you. So this is the lower ball flight here. This is going to be a low slider, left to right. Legs. Look at those legs working in forwards and open. No weight left on that right side at all. So just popping these down. 84 feet. That's the left to right slider for DJ.
He's not got to your 180 miles an hour, I've noticed. No,
just
you know, observation. That's all I'm saying.
I think it's just a little tickler down the right side that he's working for. Let's see if he puts a bit of effort in.
If Adam's got the driver out, I'd be happy to move back to Adam. I think DJ's done.
Yeah, let's see. Might just have a few wedges to cool off. Some player. Just remember watching him go around that Masters. I mean, you were just thinking, wow, I haven't seen people play golf like that for a while.
Okay, DJ, mid-170s, MPH. Let's have a look at Adam Scott, young Adam Scott, flushing away with the driver.
Just working his hands positions there, isn't he? Fingers going on the club. That's the low one.
It's the left one, that one.
6-degree launch. Just the bullet. Wouldn't it be nice to have a little sort of cheeky one down there at 275 on a slider? Look at that ball flight, beautiful. So both the guys probably thinking about the tee shots on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ditto kind of same shot there.
Carried 10 yards further and slightly more oomph.
It's just such a great swing, isn't it? Great angles. Watch his legs go. Watch that hips. Look how open those. His belt buckle's nearly aimed at the hole at impact. So you have to remember that hips always beat hands. That's a little higher, 120 apex there. So that's probably the normal one, 179 ball speed. So plenty of power in the Adam Scott swing. Watch those legs. Almost like gets to the top and leaves the club behind him. Finishes in balance.
A bit more grunt in the Adam Scott clubhead speed than DJ.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? Just. Well,
and it looks smoother.
It's DJ's is a hit, and this is like a swing.
Sometimes life isn't fair, Simon. It's just not fair.
Rob, you've been really down. You've been down on yourself a little bit. I think it's.
No, I know absolutely not. I'm admiring this totally.
Yes, just magnificent.
Rolls Royce. That's a Rolls Royce.
Oh, it is. Yep, here we go. So take Adam Scott's last shot. Would he drive the green on 18?
Oh, he'd drive it easily.
Yeah. 273 carry. You can see that particular shot superimposed onto the 18th.
Rory hit it with a 2-iron yesterday.
I know. That's a very similar Adam Scott, Rory Mcilroy. Very similar actions, swingers of the golf club. Just beautiful technique actions there. Adam Scott again, just popping it down over 300 yards. Lovely. So here's this action again, superimposed onto 18. Can he give one a little pop? I mean, that's metronomic, isn't it? That's just autopilot.
Yeah,
every shot the same.
If you pitch it where he's pitching it 280, 290, the virtual's not giving it any. It's not. That makes it onto the green.
Yeah, the run out's
it's only running about 15 yards.
Yeah, the run out's faster at the moment when we go onto the golf course.
So it's not really. It's just virtually what would happen, but the computer is wrong. it would scuttle onto the green, that, no problem.
So Adam Scott again, interesting to see, off the tee again, deciding not to try and keep it down on the grass, maybe just to make sure that he hits a little bit cleaner. So last couple of shots, Adam Scott popping it on the tee.
He's definitely working with these irons just to clip it. He's just trying to clip it.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Links turf.
Okay, we'll leave Adam in his final preparations for this second round, looking for a low one, I fancy, and the way he's swinging, that may well be coming his way in 6 hours' time or so. Let's catch up with George Harper, who's going to take a look at the best of the action from yesterday.
Well, the day has come. It's time to kick off the 150th Open Championship. There's an electricity in the air that's hard to describe, but I think everyone is ready to get into the action. Here at Today from the Open, we're going to bring you all the highlights. Paul Lawrie had the honour of hitting the first tee shot of this year's Open. The 1999 champion didn't disappoint the early bird fans as he striked the long iron straight down the middle.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to St Andrews, the home of golf. On the tee from Scotland, Paul Lawrie.
Yeah, beauty. The Scotsman was never really threatening the lead, but he saved a special moment on the 18th hole with this tee shot.
I gotta say, I got up early this morning and watched Paul kick off this 150th Open from my hotel room. It was a cool moment.
Oh, that's
and
even
a great
cooler.
shot.
Look at this. My goodness.
Fantastic.
He would convert the eagle putt and finish with a round of 2 over. It was amateur Barclay Brown who really rose to the occasion this morning. Unfazed by the big dance, he looked cool, calm and collected, with the highlight of his round coming on the challenging 17th.
How cool is this for this young amateur? Oh my goodness. That's how you celebrate making a 3. You have no idea, young man. Yeah, I just made 3 at 17, no problem. Yeah, that's all right.
Brown narrowly missed another birdie on the final hole and finished with a 4 under 68, a great opening day for the young amateur.
I felt as I expected, certainly at the start of the round, very nervous, but yeah, I think probably managed to get a few more putts to go in than I maybe thought, and just kept it maybe just a little more solid, and obviously produced a good round.
Ian Poulter had a bit of fun with the crowd after this absolute monster eagle putt on the 9th.
We'll call this an outside chance.
Ball racing across the green. Oh, come on.
Goodness.
Good gracious. Ian Poulter. That's right. It's hard to see from over there.
Aussie Cam Smith carded around a 5 under 67, and if he keeps sinking putts like this, it could be his week.
Hello. Cam dialing it up from long distance.
Rory then hit the ground running after converting a long birdie putt on the first hole.
How good is the touch early on?
Looks really good.
Very good. How about that start?
What a start from McIlroy. A birdie at the opening hole.
Rory caught a tough break on the 3rd after hitting a stake in the middle of the fairway, but the Irishman kept his composure and went on to shoot back to back to back birdies on 5, 6 and 7.
So precise with that. Oh, he sent the club right onto the ball there.
That was fabulous.
The fan favourite finished strong with a tap-in birdie to card a 6 under 66. It was an ideal way for him to start his campaign.
I think anytime you shoot 66 in the first round of any golf tournament, I don't think you're going to be too far away. You know, I've obviously come in here playing nice golf, and it was great to get off to a good start. I hasn't been my strong suit the last few seasons, but the last 3 majors, the PGA, US Open, and now here, I've gotten off to a really, really nice start, and it's all you can ask for.
It was American Cameron Young who set the links alight today. He posted an impressive 64 to establish himself as the clubhouse leader.
Six under.
This burnt lie. Can get it onto the plateau there. Wow, easy.
How about that?
And on his open debut, it is a dream start for Cameron Young.
I think we worked our way around the golf course really well. I don't think that I played a perfect round of golf. I think it just kind of, I scored really well. And I think we thought our way around kind of the way you have to out there.
Tiger Woods would have preferred to play the first hole all over. After getting some dust in his eyes, he had to look up and see his ball go in the water.
This has got to go.
In the divot, in the drink for Tiger Woods.
The three-time champion golfer of the year didn't have the ideal start, and he'll have to work hard to make the cut. World number one, Scotty Scheffler, showed exactly why he is top of the pops. His consistency is unmatched, and here he is for another birdie.
Oh, gone. 2 in a row for the world number one.
So there you have it. The day is done and dusted. What a day it was. Cameron Young setting the early pace with an 8 under par round. And this guy, not far behind, Rory Mcilroy, 6 under. This Open's going to be good.
Without your support, I don't think I would be a champion right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I've never enjoyed a walk more than I did coming up the fairway at St. Andrews.
He's done it. You think he enjoyed that one?
Man, this is awesome.
If Nicklaus can hold this, he wins.
Well, what would old Tom Morris have said of that?
I don't think anything gets cooler than champion golfer of the year.
Welcome to St. Andrews.
Welcome to the Open.
Welcome back to Live at the Range. If you are just tuning in for the first time around the globe, we are here over the next few days. We've been here for the last 3, bringing you up to date with what's been going on down here. We've got insight and analysis, and we've got the world number one, Scotty Scheffler, right behind us. He is off with Tyrrell Hatton, who's just to his left-hand side. He's walking off to the short game area now, Pete. What's he been doing on the range?
He was just checking his tee time. I do like the fact that even in a major championship, the world number one golfer in the world still doesn't quite know what time he's on the tee. I think that's fantastic. But he's just had a full...
I didn't quite hear that.
Yeah,
was he just asking?
It's just like, is it 8:25?
It's 8:25, yeah. Just to confirm with
Tyrrell
Hatton and Joaquin Niemann. But he had a round of 4 under par at 68 yesterday. A great front nine. Out in, what was it? 4 under par on his front nine? Sorry, excuse me, 3 under par, and then 1 under on his back nine, just with Tyrrell Hatton behind us, who... Great performance from the Englishman yesterday, -2. What did you see from Tyrrell on day one?
He was good. Like, he wasn't too far away from shooting a similar score to Scotty. Obviously, playing together in similar conditions.
Yeah.
Scotty just, he also very good putts yesterday, Scott, and he was very solid. And they were in the tough conditions. There's no doubt about that. I think the more I look at the scores, the more I look at the replays from yesterday as well. Like, yesterday afternoon was so tough. so windy. And to actually get through that with an under par score and still be in contention within touching distance of Cameron Young, yeah, I think that's a good job, good day.
What's can we see what Tyrrell's doing right now? What's happening?
Just some fairway woods. He's going to be clipping away again. He's just going to be going through the bag. The wind has completely died now.
It has completely dropped.
Yeah. Absolutely no movement in the flags at all. And with it being a little bit wet, again, these early starters, they're going to have the best way onto the course to get a low score.
Yeah, Tyrrell, he dropped his shot on 7, bounced back with a birdie on 9, so out in level par on his front 9. Drop shot at 12 and then birdies at 13, 14 and 18. So, yeah, that 18th hole, I mean, literally, we saw so many 2-irons being hit onto the green there and eagle chances, birdie chances. It was the easiest hole on the course on day 1.
Yeah, there's a lovely little downslope, about 260, 70. They just catch the back of and shoot through. I'm pretty sure Rory almost hit it out of bounds in the practice round with an iron over the back of that green, which is crazy to think it's 350 yards, but that's the nature of this golf course. There are little shoots and runs that you can get just hitting an iron and you get some big distances.
Yeah, 8:25, he's got the driver out now. So he's off in about, what time is it now exactly? We've got it, it's 8:06 right now, so he's got 20 minutes to go until his tee time, just getting the last few shots in. Let's have a look at his drive. What shape was that, Pete?
Not much wrong with that. I mean, that's just a tiny
baby.
tiny baby fade. Just down the middle, pick up the tee, walk on. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Had a good result at a Royal Portrush top 10 finish there for Tyrrell.
Yeah, he's a good lad, Tyrrell.
He's in the zone, isn't he? Do you like players playing in the hoodie? With a hoodie?
I mean,
how do you find it?
I mean, I've got one on today.
Yeah. Do you play golf in a hoodie?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean,
some people find it a bit irritating coming over your right shoulder if you're a right-handed golfer.
Nah, he's so focused though. He's so in the zone. You don't even notice it, Di. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you like about Tyrrell's game?
He's all round a very, very solid golfer, but his putting is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, he's been using the same putter. I actually did some filming with him the very first day. He had that pink putter in the bag, and from that day, he just looks so comfortable with it. There's some players who actually just get over the ball, and you don't think they're going to miss when they put him, and Tyrrell's one of them.
Tyrrell's had 9 appearances at the Open Championship. And where are the opportunities on this golf course today?
Oh, he's having a little thought.
What's he doing there?
I had a little look to the heavens and maybe a little prayer to the golfing gods. There's going to be a few more opportunities with the damper greens on the par 4s. Obviously, you've got the 2 par 5s as well, but I think this morning, again, the early starters, it's just going to be full attack.
Yeah.
It's weird, like normally with a major champion, you want to be major championship, you want to be easing yourself in, you want to be playing smart.
Yeah.
Around here, it just feels like you got to go, like you got to attack and you got to go early.
Well, we will be here all morning on the range. We've just had a look at Scotty Scheffler, the world #1, who's had just a sensational season. It's hard to look past so many of these players because their seasons have been so great. But for Scheffler, 3 wins on the PGA Tour before picking up that Masters victory. We could say, how many names in contention? How long's a piece of string?
Exactly. I mean, you could look at this leaderboard and you could realistically say there's 20, 30 players there. Who could still come through and have a go. And it's one of the good things about this Open. The field is just so deep and there's so many different stories that it's going to make it such an intriguing watch. It's going to be exciting. We already know that, but it's the extra stories are going to make it so cool.
How much will experience stand these players in good stead? Because we've seen some low scores from amateurs. Barclay Brown has done fantastically well under par. We've seen Rob Dinwiddie, who's not played golf for a couple of years. But when you look to the cream that will rise to the top come Sunday, do you expect it to be a more experienced player who's had great results on this course?
You know, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure, to be honest. With the old course, knowledge is key. The key is around the greens, understanding where you can leave yourself in the fairways.
Yeah.
But because it's playing, even now, it's going to be still quite dry on those fairways that were completely baked yesterday.
Yeah.
all the guys just smash it. Like,
yeah,
just give it a whack.
Scotty's leaving the range now. Where's he going?
I don't know. Scotty, where you going? I think what he'll be doing is going around to the putting green by the first tee.
Yep.
So there's 2 putting greens here on the practice range, one just to our left, and then there's one up by the first tee, and he'll be going up to that one, I think, for his final
Might
few
be a bit
putts.
busy down there, mightn't it? So, yeah, because he's not got long now, so it's about, 11, 12 minutes past 12, so you don't want to be late for your tea time.
No, well, now he knows when it is.
Yeah, one of the stories from yesterday was, Justin Rose had to pull out due to a back injury, and the first reserve, the Japanese guy, Hoshino, dashed the first tee and made it with 1 minute to spare. So he probably was feeling totally relaxed by the time he got there.
Absolutely, and Aaron.
Well, a great storyline, really.
And Aaron Rai as well.
Aaron Rai, he made it,
second
didn't he?
reserve when Eric Van Rooyen pulled out. So
yeah.
Those
really great opportunities for those guys to take part. OK, the weather, actually, it's improving slightly, and we're crossing fingers and toes and doing a bit of a sun dance down here, won't we? Well, we will be doing a bit of a dance to try and get the sun peeping out from the clouds. But for now, let's head over to George. George, where are you?
Well, play can't get underway without getting started, and we've found 2 starters, Matt Corker, David Lancaster. Boys, what an honour it is to be here starting the golf at the 150th.
It certainly is, yeah. Yesterday morning when I set it off for the first time, it was surreal. It was still and, an amazing experience, really.
How long have you boys been doing this since Ivor left?
6 years now. This is the 6th one. So, but you never get completely used to it. It's good out.
And so this must be your first one at St Andrews?
It is. First time I've ever been here, let alone as a starter here. It's a great experience. It really is.
Wow. What are some of your favourite memories in the last 6 years starting at the Open?
Oh, that's a good one.
Start thinking because it's coming your way.
I can tell you now. Mine was getting one of the TV guys coming over saying, well done, you just started that game 1 minute early.
And mine was him sending someone off with the wrong country.
Oh.
He got the name right and got the country wrong. That was hilarious. And yeah.
Nice, but it must be pretty special to be here at the 150th with the best seat in the house throughout the entire day.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic, especially when the weather gets better and the umbrella comes down. It's fantastic. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
How do you get into starting? Where does it all start?
It all started with this gentleman here doing some high-level training with the RNA, and it just developed there. They one day said, "Would you like this job?" He said yes. I said, I'll come with you.
All right, boys. Well, we're going to come on the journey with you throughout the week, so enjoy it. And we look forward to seeing you late on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. Thanks so much, man.
Cracking.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers, boys.
The pressure of being a starter, Simon Holmes. You know, you're looking at you prepare the night before, you know the names, you know the countries, you know everything, but when the red light goes on, it's the greatest laxative in the world, as you know.
Yeah, they do a great job.
It's pressure.
Oh, it is pressure, and it's difficult. They're not names you'd be familiar with. They have different pronunciations. You've got to nail it perfectly first time. They do an unbelievable job. Ivor was, though, he was a benchmark guy, wasn't he? Set a standard. He was just amazing. Miss him.
He had a black pair of leather, patent and normal hide FootJoys, and the toes on them were so shiny. You could actually check out how you were looking. They were that shiny.
Yeah,
and those shoes lasted forever.
Yeah,
they were just perfect.
Yeah,
shoe trees in them.
Yeah,
he kept them pristine.
He was everything pristine. He was really a very disciplined guy. He knew exactly when he was going to eat. He knew when he was going to take a break. It was amazing.
He wouldn't drink water for about 4 weeks before he got to the Open, so he could stay out there all day.
I know. Oh, great, Ivor, amazing. So, having a look at Nakajima. See his shots curve 8 feet from right to left. Wind, which has been coming across the driving range from left to right. Well, just kind of dropping off. We've had a little sprinkle of rain overnight. I don't think that's going to really impact play, though. I don't think you can soften this golf course for another month. It is absolutely like a runway. Flags moving around a little bit. Wind shifting, making it more difficult for the players.
Our director's interested in what the rain does, Simon, to dry course rain.
You know what? I'm
confusion.
No, I think it's this has been a sprinkle of rain. So this is just a little tiny dusting. We are really on extremely firm piece of land, and it's had no water for ages. So we've had a lot of very fiery fairways. You're going to see balls running out 100 yards. You're going to see balls bouncing on a green and bouncing 6 feet in the air. So
you'll see a bit of late spin with some of the wedges, though. You know,
yes.
It might bounce once, 2 or 3 times, and then start to draw back a little bit.
A tiny bit. So it's just really a dusting of rain. I would say probably we need that. And it just adds a complication, I think, the caddies just keeping the gloves dry. But it really is just kind of moving around. It's a proper links day. You're going to see 4 or 5 different weather patterns today. I don't think it's impacting scoring yet. I think it looks as though probably the draws are kind of even. There was a bit of wind yesterday in the late, but I don't think scores have been impacted by weather conditions.
I'd want to play now. I mean, when Robert Dinwiddie finished late last night, there was nothing.
No.
And if you're out there now, there's nothing. Wind-wise, nothing. And softer greens, you can go and get it.
Yes, I think it's been good. Like today, right now, not enough rain to make you cover under the thing or start to question your club selection. So the difficulty's been very steady. You can see open zone, lots of great little tidbits from there, and it's amazing. You know, this golf course kind of just moves out of the town, and you've got this links, and you've got the bay, and it's just the most remarkable atmosphere when the Open Championship is here.
Keita Nakajima, I've not seen his swing before.
No, let's take a closer look. So
driving iron.
Yep, driving iron.
Graphite shaft in the head of the iron.
Yeah, these are probably coming in sort of around 18, 19 degrees of loft. You can see a thicker sole, so plenty of oomph behind the sweet spot. And the guys have put these in. This is not probably a club. Here we go, little split hand drill there, just working on making sure that it's the body that rotates the face. The body squares the face up. Hip rotation squares the face at impact. So
okay, warming up on a Friday.
Yeah.
Do you need your TrackMan there? Please, come on.
The guys are using TrackMan to kind of make sure they're getting the right numbers. And it's just a habit. You're just trying to do the same thing every day. So you can see there just a little baby cut off the tee. Again,
would you describe it as a soother? You give a child a soother. Would you describe a TrackMan as a soother?
I think it's adding quality. They're trying to get. Oh, hello, a little bit of stretching there. So look, I think they're trying to get quality training, which is to make sure that the ball. Everyone's. You know, we when we were there, we'd be following the ball flight. Was that the shot I wanted? Now there's a piece of kit there. You just go boom. Here's the number. So adjusted for the weather conditions, or you can have it as though you're in a dome, and so it just adds a little bit of quality, a little bit of reassurance that that's the swing I wanted to do. Nice action that, isn't it? Very clean. Plenty of speed there.
230 yards, more or less, pretty consistently with this driving iron. That's 20 yards shorter than Adam Scott was hitting with his driving iron.
Oh yeah, I mean Adam Scott is in the top percentiles for just classic actions, blending the technique, blending the power. Adam Scott just absolutely pure. If you're out here, you can catch him up. He's heading out.
Okay, there's so many key holes that you've got to play well here at St Andrews. Let's take a look at them.
The first hole on the old course has one of the widest fairways in golf and only measures 375 yards. But don't get complacent. With the prevailing wind into and from the left, there is a preference for hitting the approach from the right-hand side of the fairway. A safer tee shot down the left leaves a tougher approach, with the wind directly across the player and landing onto a hard and fast putting green. The Swilcan Burn comes into play down the right of the fairway and in front of the putting green. The second hole measures 452 yards, and it's a blind tee shot over the gorse, so the player has to commit to the right line off of the tee. But that correct line will change depending on the hole position. If it's on the left of the green, the play is down the right side of the fairway, and that risks bringing the pot bunkers into play in the right-hand rough. And the prevailing wind, well, that pushes balls in that direction. Anything left-hand side of the fairway will set up a second shot with a hard left-to-right wind onto a green that throws the ball right on landing. With the course playing hard and fast this week, picking the right club and landing spot is absolutely vital. Hole positions on the right are also protected by two large pot bunkers built ahead of the last Open in 2015. A 4 here is a very good score. The 480-yard fourth is another blind tee shot. The ideal line off the tee will again depend on the pin position. Long hitters may try to thread the needle and hit down a 15-yard stretch between the cottage bunker and thick rough. Taking a safer line down the 15th fairway is an option, but a small pot bunker awaits, and anyone finding that is likely to drop at least a shot. The further left you take your tee shot, the more your approach will ride that wind and kick off the left to right sloping green. That would leave a really tricky chip for your third shot. The green falls significantly from left to right and is more severe the further back the hole location is placed. If the hole is at the back, there is a greater onus on playing in from the right side of the fairway. The second par 3 on the course is arguably one of the toughest greens in world golf, with severe slopes from left to right and a prevailing wind from the left as well. Everything feels against the golfer at the very far end of the links. The large hill bunker to the left and strath bunker short along the false front, and the drop-off at the rear of the green reduce the target area significantly. Any tee shot that lands to the left of the hole will result in a difficult downhill putt. Shot shape is important here, with many players hitting a right to left to hold the ball against the wind. The 12th hole only measures 351 yards, but it's deceptively tricky because of a series of fairway bunkers that can't be seen from the tee. The prevailing wind is often helping, so the longer hitters have a chance at taking on the green. Others will choose to lay up short of the bunkers, leaving a long second shot into a challenging, heavily contoured putting surface. The top level of the two-tiered green is only 12 paces deep and demands pinpoint accuracy when the flag is located there. Whatever weather conditions, this is a great opportunity to make a birdie. The 13th hole measures 465 yards. The treacherous coffin bunkers await the tee shot with the prevailing wind out of the right. Once again, the strategy depends on hole location. If it's on the left or the middle of the green, a drive down the 13th fairway is appropriate. When the flag is on the right, the longer hitters may choose to go down the 6th fairway, over or left of the coffin bunkers. It's important to hit the approach with the correct shape to hold it against the wind and the contours of the green. That can be the difference between a birdie chance or a very real danger of a 3-putt on one of the largest greens in the world at 98 yards deep. There's only one option from the 14th tee, right of the birdies and left of the out of bounds, which runs down the right-hand side of the hole. If you're long enough, you can have a crack at the green over Hell Bunker and a cunning pot bunker named Pulpit. If you need to lay up, it's often best to go down the 5th hole. The prevailing wind out of the right and helping will mean approaching the green from the left will allow the golfer to stall the ball in the air against the wind. Approaching from the right with that helping wind and a green that throws the ball to the left could leave a really tough chip. The 418-yard-long 16th was the second toughest hole at the 2015 Open Championship. With the wind out of the right, there are a couple of options off the tee. The aggressive play is between the principal's nose bunker and the outer bound fence, where the golfer can ride the wind or cut a tee shot off of the principal's nose. Deacon Syme's bunker also comes into play a little further up if you choose to take that aggressive line. It's small, but it's penal. The safer option is left up the 3rd fairway, which leaves a second shot into that prevailing wind to a green with a steep rise at the front. Controlling that approach to get the ball landing on the flat of the top is absolutely vital. The road hole measures a beastly 495 yards, and it's one of the most iconic and challenging holes in world golf. With the prevailing wind out of the right, the line off the tee is often further right than you expect over the railway sheds. Either skirt the hotel and ride the wind to the 17th fairway, play it safe left down the 2nd fairway, or risk the rough between the two. With a front or right pin position, players can take any option off the tee, but more thought is required when the road bunker is in play with the pin position. Some players choose to miss short or long and left and try their luck getting up and down from there. Long of the green should be avoided at all costs. With a red shale path, the road itself and the boundary of the course symbolised by a wall. And once you get on the green, it's no picnic either. Any 4 here is hard earned. The final hole at the Old Course features one of the widest fairways and most famous views in golf. Players can choose to go for the green or lay up off the tee, far enough back to control spin with the approach. A front hole location requires care, as the player will not want to be too close to the green with a difficult pitch, chip or putt through the Valley of Sin. The green slopes from back right to front left and gives you a great chance to finish with a birdie.
What did you shoot there, Simon? Thanks to Kid Alexander for the VO. What did you shoot there?
Another 69 for me, Rob.
Yeah, it's very good.
Thank you.
So Thursday, round 1. Look at some of the yardages from some of these players, well over 300 yards. The rainbow burst from the practice tee, pretty much covering the entire range. Downwind, the range wouldn't be long enough.
No. Yeah, we saw some Bryson DeChambeau drives at 349. So, yeah, there is more power in the game. There's no doubt about it. So, interesting, very interesting to see. So here we go. These are just the carry numbers. Rory Mcilroy would be very pleased to see that he is a yard ahead of Bryson DeChambeau.
Well, Rory hit a drive on 14 yesterday, over 400 yards.
Yeah, and a great shot. Seriously, took on the out of bounds, played the shot he wanted, really attacked the hole. I thought he got. I was very pleased to see him bring in a very, very solid first round, an excellent first round, and hopefully that gives him a momentum that he can keep. It's important for Rory to have a bounce in his step, and I think if he feels like he can bully the golf course with his driver or his length, he likes that. That's a good style of play for him.
So let's look at the early starters today. In the damp conditions, you would expect to see slightly less distance from the longer hitters, and that seems to be borne out.
Yeah, I think you've got a waterproof jacket on, conditions are cooler, and it's a funny air up here. It just is, it's a damper air, it just hits the ball harder. So, Gary Woodland, just 2 ahead. Let's see what if he stays top of that leaderboard all day long.
Well, the interesting one to contrast there is Potgieter, because he was tied with Rory on 3.13 on day one, so he's 13 yards shorter carry-wise this morning.
Yeah, and that's just the conditions. So, and plus the other thing, you know, maximum carry, the guys are probably trying to launch it. I mean, Bryson had one which 156 feet of apex. That's just like basically a moon ball with plenty of power. So you can just see slightly breeze into a little bit more, not so across as it was, and guys just warming themselves up, getting ready for those tee shots they're going to have.
There is an umbrella at the top of the stand-up, so I think it's spitty out there.
Oh, I think that's right. There's a drizzle. We were told. I mean, we came walking through the compound here at sort of 6:45, and I mean we had waterproof jackets on. It's a bit of rain, but it's nothing ferocious. It doesn't have the wind with it, and that's the one that can really make it a.
But look at
awful.
the hardy fans. Only one man has had the foresight to bring an umbrella.
Yeah, do you know what?
They're a hardy lot, aren't they?
They are, and I mean, if you love golf and you love playing golf in St Andrews, you are going to play in some bad weather. It's an outdoor sport, and it's part of the elements.
You know what's amazing? You go to a football match and you get caught up in the rah, you know, the to and froing, the backwards and forwards. You're in with the crowd. These are people just sitting at the back of the range watching golfers hit.
Do you know what? That's where I would be, Rob. That's where I would be. Okay. One of the talents, Jordan Smith, just working on a little hand path there. So what you can do, one of the things that's tempting to sort of let your hands travel down the target line and separate away from your body. So very important to make sure your hands go kind of round the corner of your left hip. So, and keep low through the ball. So great action. Wisley member. He's had some season.
He's as good a ball striker as we have on the DP World Tour.
I would say that with his coach Simon. Simon Shanks there, super chap, very knowledgeable coach. Got a good stable of players. Gets his players performing well. I think that's great.
Have you ever had, one of your players in a terrible mood come up to you and say you're a terrible coach? Has that ever happened?
100%, Rob. There's not one person who hasn't said, you've ruined my career. That's happened to me plenty of times. So this is some great action. Great angles. Look at the change of direction. Loads of hip turn going back, and then boom.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's so good. Just an absolute flusher. Be wishing him well. All the Wisley guys, they're so generous with their time as the pros there. Play with our members, really great. Dennis Pugh, Molinari.
Oh, our members.
Well,
I like that. Our members.
I feel like that's my little home down in Wisley. That's a great spot. So here we go. Very repetitive action.
Big improvement in the world rankings. For Jordan Smith.
Big time. Looking for a few victories. Just need a little bit of heat from the putter. The putter just a little bit underperforming. It's always hard when you're one of those guys who hits tons and tons and tons of greens, and you've always sort of got that 12-footer. So yeah, just a bunch of standard shots there. So not having to work the ball. The wind is not impacting, so we could definitely see during practice days a much faster wind across the range and more from the left. The guys really kind of trying to keep the ball flights down, but not really a pure links day today.
Got to make sure though that you're not playing golf swings and you are focused on playing golf.
I think
this is, for me, this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday stuff.
Yeah, no, I think this is just reminders. This is no real thing. It's just, okay, here's your feeling. Have you got it in your head? Okay, yes, just give me that feel one more time. Okay, yeah, just you're trying to just groove it in so it never becomes autopilot, but you try to get it as autopilot as you can. See a little bit more speed there. Team just getting ready. Everybody know their role. Everybody know their job. Get ready to perform, bring in a score, give yourself a chance at what would be an unbelievable victory for any person in the world to become champion golfer of the year at the 150th Open.
You know, most years you come to an Open and you think, oh, is it the 138th, the 139th? Everybody's got it right this year.
Do you know what? Even me, 150, that's one I could remember. It's amazing, isn't it? Walking around the town, there's such a buzz. Look at the footwork, it's so balanced, isn't it? Yeah, interesting to see to watch his legs. So here we go, just coming up. Make sure he's got his target, picturing a shot, visualization. You can only aim from down the line, so.
What clubs he got there? 5-iron?
I'd say that's a 5-iron, yes, Rob.
Carrying 205 in these damp conditions.
Yeah. So watch those hips, up with the right and down, and then up with the left. So hips kind of start off level, then that right hip rises, then it recenters, that left hip posts, all from the legs in the Jordan Smith action.
That one carried nearly 210 yards. So is the idea, Simon, that you want the same yardage within 2 or 3 yards every time you swipe the same club?
Yeah, I think if you've got kind of like a stock number that you're working towards, and then you might have a way of maybe sort of, let's suppose you make it simple, your 5-iron goes 210. You know, if you've got 205 carry over something and that's the number you want to hit, you'll have some way of hitting kind of that half number. And you might have two ways. You might have a way of catching a little bit extra speed out of your 6-iron to get there, or just dropping something slightly off your 5-iron. So
I think we've gone driving iron now, because I see a change in shaft colour. And normally when you see that, it's because there's a bit of graphite in there, in the driving iron.
So I'm not sure that was exactly what he was trying to do there. So there it is. Keeps himself moving, not too still, little waggle, and then boom. See what he got. Okay, maybe overreacted from the one that went way left, so not at all what he was trying to do there. And that's over by our car. Great. And what happens is, you know, you put in a driving iron this week, and you have probably, it's not a club you spend a lot of time with, so.
Well, you don't hit many shots with a driving iron, do you, to be honest?
No, that's the whole thing.
Unless you got it for a couple of tee shots on a golf course in a round, you don't use it that much into greens.
No, I mean, it's too hot to go into greens. The whole point of it is sort of low and hot and fizzy, and you can see. Right, come on, Jordan. Let's put a proper swing on this. Right, so here we go. Okay, is this the one? Okay, that's the real stinger. So you can see that flighted down, only 60 feet apex. 230. Okay, that was a little bit more like it here. Normal service resumes. Yeah, a little soft hands. Again, that's the one he's just really working down. See, 4 on the launch, 50 feet plus minus on the apex, driving it down. A shot that he would have just worked on just for this week.
Yeah, it's a lovely rhythm, isn't it? Really nice. It's going to serve him well throughout his career, no doubt. Well, we'll leave Jordan and take a look at what Rory Mcilroy, who's started very nicely with a 66 in round 1, got up to in the open zone with Martin Hall.
Martin Hall joined by Rory Mcilroy in the open zone. A wee bit breezy, hey, Ross?
Just a wee bit. Just
yes,
a wee bit.
Indeed. So how does this affect your preparation? I mean, we've got strong left to right on the range. Does that limit the amount of time you spend on the range?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. You know, as you just said there off air, it's, you know, it's going to be going out on this golf course, it's going to be this wind left to right going out and then going to be strong right to left on the way in. But it looks like this is supposed to be the wind for the week. Yeah. So it's, you know, it's not a bad wind to practice in. It's probably as windy as it's going to get. But I mean, we're going to have to play in some wind this week, so I guess it's good to practice in it.
Well, hopefully it isn't as much as it is right now. That it almost blew Harry over there. Almost blew him over. So listen, we know at St Andrews, look, you can hit it left off the tee and there's no bunkers there. But if you want the nice line into the pin, you've got to hit it down the right, especially on the first 7 holes. What's the plan in a wind like this going out?
Yeah, so, geez, I think in a way it makes the tee shots on the front nine nice and easy because you can aim it into the middle of the golf course. You know, obviously left here is usually okay, but you can aim it into the middle of the golf course and just let the wind bring it back into that right side, as you say, and that will give you the better angles into some of these greens.
All right. Can you hit a couple for us in this one? You haven't hit any yet, have you?
I haven't. This is, but I'll be all right. I'm still young enough. Yeah, so I mean, when a wind is as strong as this, you're not really trying to fight it too much. You're just trying to let it, you know, pick a target out there, let the ball sort of move off it.
Well, let's see you hit a couple. I suspect they will be terrific. They always are whenever we get together. You know, I hit some earlier today, and my ball moved a lot more in the wind than that. To the right. That didn't move that much. So you're not especially holding that back against the wind?
No, not at all. I'm just trying to hit a nice neutral shot. And then just let the wind take it a little bit.
Now, to a great degree, you've been playing very well this year indeed. I think you said to me last time we were together you feel it's a lot freer, a lot less technical. Is there anything in particular you're working on at all? Any drills?
Not really. I mean, the big thing for me is I'm just trying to keep I'm trying to get as much height in the backswing as possible. And then from there, just keep everything sort of turning through. So, you know, I try to get nice and high, and then from there, just let everything turn through. Trying to keep it all in sync, especially when the wind is like this.
Yeah, that's really important, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there has been some talk before this week started that perhaps, heavens forbid, somebody might break 60 on this golf course this week. Not sure in this wind. The defence, of course, will be where they can put the flags. Yeah. So how do you get to the flags on the old course when they tuck them very tightly behind the bunkers?
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's all about playing the angles on this golf course, and yeah, you know, there's going to be a lot of times where you mightn't hitch driver off the tee because you need to leave yourself a full wedge in to get some spin to get it close to these pins. So yeah, I think anyone breaking 60 this week, that's not going to happen, especially with how firm and fast it's playing. You know, it's going to be a tricky test, I think.
Is it as firm as you've ever seen it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's and that's a whole different type of golf than you play most of your year these days, isn't it?
It is, and it's a different type of golf than I usually play on this golf course, because I've seen this course mostly in the Dunhill Links in October, and it's lush and it's green, and it's not running as much. You know, I've only played one Open Championship here, and it wasn't too firm that year. So this is a different St Andrews than I've ever seen.
Well, let's see you hit another one. So you're working a little bit, probably not using a swing thought on the course, but a little bit on getting the hands high, which for a lot of people is helpful. What do you feel that does for Rory Mcilroy?
Well, for me, my tendency is at the top is to let this club sort of fall a little bit behind me and get under the plane. So the higher I have my hands at the top, the more margin for error I have. Because if you think about it, if my hands are low and it drops, it gets stuck way behind me. Where if they're nice and high and it drops a little bit, I can still rotate and keep the club on plane on the way down.
Let's see one more. Everybody loves watching you hit golf balls, Rory, myself included. So listen, golf course, firm as you said, firmer than perhaps you've ever seen it. Any changes in equipment for this week?
Yeah, so I've put a 2-iron in the bag, which I think could be a good club off the tee on certain holes. And then I've went with less bounce in my lob wedge. Just the the ground here is so firm that you want to try to have as little bounce as possible on the wedge, just to make sure that the club isn't bouncing into the ball off this firm turf.
Yeah, you don't want that, do you?
No.
And mainly you'll be keeping the ball pretty low to the ground as much as you can, I suspect, this week. Indeed.
Exactly.
One more, if you would, then I want to talk about...
I'll hit a little hold, actually. I'll hit one back into the breeze here.
Oh. See, that's golfers being golfers. He just couldn't resist trying to turn one back into the wind. I love it. Now, listen, a lot of people might not know this. In fact, my producer at the Golf Channel didn't know this. Does the wind affect your putting on a day like today?
Yes, it certainly does. It affects your stroke. It affects the line of the ball. You have to read wind into your putts on a day like today.
And so sometimes, is it possible you could have the slope going one way and the wind going another way, and you have to allow for that?
Yeah, definitely. I think the wind can, especially a wind of this strength, it can count, and with how exposed some of these greens are out here, thinking of like the 11th green, for example, the wind will affect them. And yeah, it's so hard if you've got a putt that looks left or right and the wind's going the opposite direction, and trying to start that putt straight or even on the right edge. It's a hard thing to do mentally.
Yeah, so you have to take all those things into consideration. And one last thing, some people might wonder why at the Open Championship the greens are never that quick. Certainly not as quick as perhaps some of the other major championships. And the wind would be the reason, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think they just don't want to delay in play. If they get them just a tiny bit too fast and, balls start rolling on greens, that's no good for anyone. So I think just being, erring on the side of caution is a good thing.
Well, Rory, it's always a pleasure to spend time with you. Look forward to seeing you back in Florida. Have a wonderful 150th Open Championship.
Thanks, Mark.
We hope you lift in that Claret Jug.
I hope so.
And good luck to you this week.
Cheers. Thank you.
That was before Rory's first round, which we all watched yesterday, 66. It was a thing of beauty. We'll see what he gets up to later on this afternoon. And the Hardy fans are still there, watching the players on the range warm up and sit behind their favourite one and watch maybe 20, 30 shots. Pretty nice thing to do if you're into golf swings. That's the place to be. Okay, let's go and catch up with Peter and Di.
Yeah, here on the range on this Friday morning, and Pete, very different conditions. It's going to be a bit of a stop-start scenario for the players out on the course, with waterproofs coming on, taking them off, umbrellas going up. It's a bit cumbersome, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think the waterproofs are going to be coming off anytime soon.
It's
to
freezing.
Be honest.
It's actually freezing.
I was going to say it's going to protect you from the rain, but yeah, there is a definite chill in the westerly breeze today.
Yeah. How much does it affect your golf when you have so many layers on with the golf swing? You've worked with so many people over the years. What do people think about playing in waterproofs and feeling a bit bulkier? I
mean, it does depend what waterproofs you've got. I mean, at the end of the day, all these guys, they're going to be using top-of-the-line stuff that's flexible. Yeah. It's not like it was, 10, 15 years ago when it felt like you were swinging in a bin liner. These are a little bit more flexible than that. So I don't think that's going to bother them too much. It's more of a mental thing more than anything. At the end of the day, when it's warmer, you have less layers on and you can swing freer. When it's a little bit colder, a little bit wetter, you can just feel a little bit more restricted.
Yeah.
But it is more of a mental thing. You just got to go out and try and put the same swing on it and just forget that all this is going on around you.
Yeah, it's about adaptability and versatility, isn't it? I mean, Payne Stewart, he was famous for having sleeveless waterproof top, wasn't he? Because he didn't like the constriction of having a waterproof jacket on him.
Yeah, and to be honest, if they can, they won't wear one.
Yeah.
They'll get some base layers on.
Yeah.
They'll have a jumper and they'll keep the brolly up all the time.
Yeah.
And, the brollies, well, you've seen the size of them this morning. They are like tents, basically.
Yeah, you nearly knocked me out with your brolly, so I was keeping a distance from you. But the weather, how much will it affect the fairways, the greens today?
The course was so firm yesterday and this week. This will take a little bit of the fire out of it, but if the forecast is to be believed, we're going to get a little bit more rain this morning, and then it's going to clear up. Yeah. And I imagine by tomorrow, it won't even look like this rain was here at all.
No. It's the forecast says sort of by lunchtime it's clearing up here, isn't it, in St Andrews? So would you like to play this morning or this afternoon?
Oh, this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, early this morning, no wind.
Yeah.
A little bit of moisture in the ground to make the greens more receptive. Just get me out there, like right now. And it was the same yesterday. Like the morning tee times on both days do seem to have had an advantage. And I think that's how you want it. You know, you don't want the morning one side of the draw getting more of an advantage than the other.
Yes,
you want it to be evened out. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Okay, so we've got the Tiger Woods group going off. He's with Matt Fitzpatrick and Max Homa as well, just before 10 o'clock. So there is hope, an opportunity for Tiger to get some birdies out there this morning?
There's always hope, Dan.
Yeah.
There's always hope. You've got to believe that.
But it's a good tee time.
It is a good tee time. The only thing for Tiger today is just a bit cold. Like, you know, we know with his injuries he does need heat. He does need the warmth to actually allow his body to move how he wants it to.
Might have had a hot bath this morning as well as a cold bath.
Yeah, and then a sauna and a steam room.
Yeah. We've done the same. We were a couple of hours prep before we got here.
Absolutely, yes. The conveyor belt of warming methods.
Yeah.
But he does need that.
It's got to be done.
He does, and I don't know. Honestly, I'm just
what
so
are your thoughts
hopeful.
on him? Do you feel like he will shoot a low score today, or it's too much?
I mean, I felt yesterday if he was to make it through to the weekend, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
That is still my hope, but just the way his body language yesterday wasn't great. I don't know, not got a good feeling.
Okay. I've still got hope, crossing fingers and toes. Okay, well, we will be with you very shortly, but for now, back to you guys.
Thanks, Di. Yeah, it's quite damp, and the Scottish word we used earlier on, drich, that's exactly what it is. That's a 3-man umbrella under there, which is quite handy. And they're not blocking the view of many people behind. Ideal, I would suggest.
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? Anything to stay dry. I think it's just going to be one of those days where it comes and goes. It doesn't add too much discomfort for the players, I think. The caddies are amazing. They're so good at organising it. It's just a case of got to keep a towel dry, got to keep grips dry, and a clean glove. So it doesn't look there's going to have enormous amounts of difficulty for the players. If it gets really windy with the same amount of wind, then it's really annoying.
Plastic bag for putting a few gloves in on a day like this.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. All of that. The caddies all over it. All over it. Yeah, something you get used to. Just got to sort of plan your way around it. You can see the screen just with a smattering of rain on it. But the wind has kind of dropped off a little bit, and that probably makes scoring a little bit easier for the guys out on the golf course.
The cut, they're thinking might be level par. So for Tiger Woods, who tees off just before 10 o'clock today, that's a 66.
It is,
That's
Rob.
pretty much everything's got to go right.
Everything has got to go right. And I mean, everything went wrong yesterday, so could that be reversed?
Yes.
100%. He just looked... I watching him warm up, and it looked great. And I don't know if it was such a huge thing for him, this Open. As he was coming out of his recovery, it was the one beacon that he held out, which was this is why I'm training because of this. And I don't know if he just put so much pressure on the day that he kind of paralysed himself.
I think it's simpler than that. I think he hit a lovely tee shot at the first, and then it found a divot, the back end of the divot.
Yeah.
And it was a double bogey 6, and it was a hard day, that's for sure. Okay, let's catch up with George Harper. I think he's getting wet.
Well, good morning from the first tee. One thing that's grabbed our attention all week is the artwork of the jib. This is called a huge camera beam, and this is what creates the beautiful pictures you see at home. There's a lot of weight at one end, and as you'll see here, he's moving with the walk-off, the precision, the accuracy. That's right there. Such a steady, slow-moving cam. Keep going. Keep going. Up. Beautiful. Up. Up. Oh, wow. Smooth. Smooth as you like. Look at these pictures here.
Stop there, Jacob. Brilliant. Well done. Super.
Brilliant. And then reset. Jacob.
How are you?
Well done, mate. That looked beautiful on camera. What's the art of using the jib?
Oh, the art. I don't know about the art. It's one of my first times, weeks doing the jib, actually. So keep it simple, low and slow, and all the actions about the golf. That's obviously the main thing.
Nice.
Have you ever tried one before?
I haven't.
Would you like to have a quick go?
Well, Yeah, I'm very scared, to be honest. So you take the mic and talk me through it.
We'll swap roles.
Swapping roles. So, oh wow, okay. So if you can talk me through the general technical side of it, like how does it all work for the people at home?
So I mean, there's the simplistic bit of it is there's a camera on one end and weights on the other, and there's obviously a disproportionate amount of weight here. You need more weight to the back to counterbalance the camera.
Okay.
And obviously the most effective shot is when you're low down in the grass and you come up wide. That's obviously what a normal camera can't do.
Okay, so I'm low down here.
Low down, so tilt up a bit.
Up a bit.
So zoom out.
Oh, I can't zoom out as well. Come on.
Where's the cameraman? Come in here.
Oh, yeah, there he is. He's on
the jib.
The cameraman's on camera.
So
okay.
Put your hand in there.
Hand in there.
You can see there's a zoom rocker.
Oh, yeah, got it.
That's it. So start low. Get low, low, low.
Oh,
that's
like
the stuff.
It's going to hit the ground. Oh, no.
There we go.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, and then so all you need to do is bring the arm down so your camera moves up and a gentle zoom in.
And a gentle zoom in. And am I moving? Oh, here we go. Now, like, am I squatting?
Oh, baby. Keep going.
Oh, I'm cramping.
Tilt up, tilt up.
What camera am I looking at? Oh, there it is. And then we'll do that pan that you did, pretend the golfers are walking past. It's great stuff.
It's harder than it looks, isn't it?
Yeah, this must be pretty fun. How did you get into this?
I started like 3 years ago, volunteered with Graham. He's got his own jib, so kind of got into that. Only this year I've started to do a few simple moves and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been good fun. Hopefully I can do more of the golf.
Yeah, wow. You've got the best seat in the house to do it. So thanks for showing us around, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the week.
Stick to the day job.
Yeah. Stick to the day job. Thanks, mate. Careful, I'm going to drop that.
It's a dream. It's a dream of every kid. When you're growing up, you see the Open Championship, you want to be the winner of the Claret Jug, and I think if you ask any kid that's out on that golf course, what tournament would you want to win, they would probably pick the Open. Growing up watching it, used to just switch it on in the morning and watch it all the way through to night time when it was bedtime. St Andrews is just such a special place, not just the golf course, but the buzz that you just walk off the 18th green and you're in the middle of town. There's not many golf courses in the world that give you the opportunity to do that. If there's any Open that you can pick to win, it would be an Open at St Andrews. But any golfer on the whole planet would say the same. It's just the home of golf, the biggest golf tournament on the planet.
This is a great opportunity for us to use our Sky Scope technology here in the open zone to look at the golf swing of Collin Morikawa. He is the defending champion of the Open. We're going to take him from the golf course and bring him right here into the studio. We're going to focus on a few things with him that he does with his golf swing that allows him to be the world-class talent that he is, a two-time major winning world-class talent at that as well. The iron play is the secret to his superpowers, but the drive is also pretty strong indeed. And of course, there's a few things in common with both parts of that game, whether it be the driving or the iron play. With the drive at address, he looks absolutely fabulous. The big thing we'll focus on here, though, will be the grip. So we're going to push in here and have a little look at how he grips the club, because it is different to what we'd see with most of those top players. It's really weak with the gloved hand. By that, I mean, well, it's sat right on top with the thumb, and the logo on his glove is looking straight down the target line. That's not what you'd see with most players these days. You tend to see a lot of strong grips, and by that I mean that logo would be looking more up towards the sky. But with Collin, nope, straight down the fairway, and that has implications to how he uses his wrists and what it does with the club face in his golf swing. Other than that, fairly standard at address, looks really good, nicely poised to move the club back in an athletic manner. So let's wind him up to the top of his swing. And the wind-up is a great way to describe it as well. So coiled, so centred. And centred What do we mean by that? Well, he stays nicely stacked on top of the ball. There's no sway back off it in the backswing that he has to coordinate again on the way down, and he stays beautifully framed on top of it, sternum over the top of the ball, and you can see a nice wind into that right side by allowing that right leg to straighten as well. A nice image here to think about what it means when these top players stay centered is they could pretty much swing in a phone box, certainly with their bodies. The arms will be outside, of course, but the body would stay within it. There's no big move off the ball. This allows him to use the ground really well and his legs really well. It's where his power and precision comes in his move. Now let's have a little look at the top of the backswing position, beautifully supported with the right arm at the top, nicely underneath the shaft. But look at that grip once more again, that gloved hand. An ever so slight bow, but we'd expect to see this a little bit with Colin because he starts from a weak position with the club, and as he gets to the top there's a very slight strengthening of that face and a very slight bow in that wrist. That's going to help him with his rotation as he moves through his downswing. Now the key to notice here, the difference between Collin Morikawa and Dustin Johnson, for instance, who has that really strong grip with the logo looking up at address compared to Colin at the top. When he gets that big bow, he makes a club face that looks straight up at the sky. But because Colin's grip is weaker, he can also have a nice bow, especially as he starts to come down, and the face won't be anywhere near as strong as Dustin. So different grips, different club faces, and it's all about matching them up. That's what these players do brilliantly, but in different ways. Now watch what happens as we start to bring him down. The fact that he bows that left wrist more here, more flexion in that left wrist, means that it shallows the club out beautifully. So you can see the line it's going up on the way back is very different to the line it's tracking on the way down with that bow in the wrist. And what that means is from this position, he can just turn and burn. That club is strong in its club face, doesn't need a lot of timing to try and square that face up through strike. And from this position right here, he can just turn hard with the lower body. The upper body will come with it as well, and he can rotate through strike. So let's take him all the way through. Post strike here, you can see starting to straighten up through that left leg, all of that power using the ground beautifully, and the rotation is what brings that club back round to strike. One of the great things about this is you've got all your power source in the middle of your body, so he's using this, but it's also more reliable because he's got stability in his club. He's just using his middle to square it up. He's not having to try and time that thing with hands and arms. So great position here, and we're going to wind him on through to the finish. Absolutely beautifully poised as well. You know, one of the things that's great about it, it is the matchup in his golf swing. He stays lovely and centered over the golf ball in his backswing. He strengthens that blade on the way down, shallows that club out, allows himself to turn all the way through to the finish. And with it comes precision and power at the same time. When he gave that Claret Jug back on Monday, he said it sucked to give it back. But when you look at that move of Collin Morikawa, there's a chance there might be a few more Claret Jugs in his future.
And thank you for that, Nick. Very interesting stuff. And we are back live on the range. And oh my, Radar, doesn't that just look pretty as a picture?
Marvellous. As long as those flags stay, well, like they are now, and it doesn't rain. And rain with wind is never a nice mixture.
No, especially, oh, crikey. It's not mega heavy rain either. It is mixed with the light stuff, so it's going to be blowing underneath the brollies and up the trousers. We've got a full cast pretty much on the range. We've got Louis, we've got Tiger. Just trying to go through their warm-up routines. What were you like when it was like this, Radar?
Didn't mind.
No?
Honestly, no, I didn't mind. And that's weird from a guy coming from the sunshine of Australia. And I didn't mind. I found it a challenge. I was all right at manoeuvring the golf ball around a links golf course, and I could hit the shots. Putting was never my forte in the game of golf. I was very streaky. I had my times, but week in, week out, I wasn't a champion putter. These conditions I found a challenge, but I enjoyed it, just as long as I said, as long as it's not windy, seriously windy, and rainy. Your caddy needs to be an octopus to play in those conditions.
Talking about streaky, that is one colourful scorecard from Tiger. What would you think is a realistic number for him, Radar, if he wants to make the cut today?
Oh, I think the I think level is looking level, but 6 under. Is there a 6 under in Tiger Woods today? I'm not going to say no, but it's a tall order. Yesterday it just didn't get off to a fly with that divot on the first and dunking and then squawk and burn and making a double. It's no good.
I don't know what you thought of his performance yesterday. When I was watching him, body language seemed a bit very flat yesterday. He didn't really seem up for it in a strange kind of way.
Well, you get off to that kind of start. You're 6 over after 8. You think, oh, wow. I wanted to come to the home of golf and play the old lady once more, where I've been triumphant a couple of times and never hit it in a bunker in 2000. And I'm in every bunker out here. But, look, I think after this, we won't see Tiger until the Hero Challenge. He's tournament, where he'll go and he doesn't take it that seriously. He just hosts that. And then around the Masters, we'll see him back again. I think we might see the great Tiger Woods just make this heel. And pardon the pun, but it's one of those. And I think, look, he's not far away. He's one of those players right now that he's showing signs, even though he shot 6 over yesterday, he's showing signs that we just want Tiger to get better, and then we'll see how he goes.
Yeah, I think this was always his goal, wasn't it? To just try and get to this tournament. He didn't want to miss the 150th. He didn't want to miss St Andrews. And, making the cut for him would have been great. And at the end of the day, everyone's allowed a bad round, aren't they? Crikey, he wasn't the only one to do that yesterday. He will be working up through his short irons. Same routine, or would he be rushing to get in there, right?
No, same routine. Tiger Woods will never change his routine. He'll go about his business. He would have got up early this morning. It would have been a gym session. He gets up 4 o'clock on a day like this. He'll work out in the gym. He has, I'm not sure this part of the world is perfect for the ice bath he has to have every morning. I don't know who goes down the service station and goes to the ice machine and grabs all the ice.
I suppose he'd probably just walk out to the North Sea, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Do the same
well,
job.
there you go.
Yeah.
Down at Chara Sapphire, down on the West Sands.
Crikey, that sea is going to be frothing today, I think, by the end of play. A little bit more water and a little bit more wind. Doesn't seem to be picking up too much at the moment, but the forecast is for this to blow through and to clear up as the day gets longer, so might see a few low scores if the conditions do get favourable. Do you think this rain is going to kind of take the fire out the course much?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. You watch. Look at that. We're seeing the golf course green up a lot. And it's going to be a lot easier out there today. We're going to see better scoring. We're going to see a lot of balls spin back. So you need to control your spin today. Sure, there's a little bit of fire still in the greens' belly, but they will start to spin. And it's just a matter of the guy who can adjust to the pace of the greens, because they are going to slow down with the surface moisture.
What with Tiger yesterday, one of the things which was noticeable, it just wasn't, certainly on the front line, just was not really dialed in with his irons, and that is one of the hallmarks of his game. One of the best you've seen?
In his iron play, absolutely. Yeah. Every part of the game was, you don't win 15 majors without being absolutely fantastic. This is a better view. What I'm seeing with Tiger, because he's so strong up top there, I just don't know if the bottom half works as well as it once did. And sometimes the bottom half just stays a little still, and he doesn't get rid of that left hip, can't get off the right side, or if he's scared because of the ankle injury, and that top half covers the ball very well, but sometimes it stops and the arms keep going and he flips it left.
I think with those irons and the wedges, he just looks exactly the same. It's as soon as those power swings start to come in where you do see just that little bit of inaction at times in the lower half. But again, we do have to remember, he almost lost that leg.
And a back fusion.
And the knee surgeries.
And plenty of them. I mean, Steve Austin in the Bionic Man, this guy's up there with him. I mean, this guy is an incredible athlete.
Yeah, I think we'd have seen some other players, if they went through the same thing, they wouldn't be here, would they? They'd be on a beach somewhere chilling out.
Especially if he had his coin.
Crikey, yeah. They'd be on his yacht, actually, wouldn't
yeah.
they? Yeah.
Privacy.
That might not be moored off the St Andrews coast this week, I don't think. I'm not sure the St Andrews Bay has ever seen a super yacht before.
Everything seems to be working better, though, from when I saw him. Where did I first see him this year? I walked with him at the Masters, and first day he shot a couple under, fantastic. Everyone's going, whoa, or 1 or 2 under, and it's, yeah, so it seems to be getting better.
Yeah. Well, we are going to leave the comms for a moment and get down onto what is a very wet range with Di.
Thanks, Pete. I hope you're nice and warm. Can you send a cup of tea and a biscuit down, please, at some point? That'd be great. Here with Rich being Rich.
A cup, how about a keg?
A keg would be great. And a wee dram, it's a wee bit dreich out here. That's my attempt at a Scottish accent. I love this part of the world. Behind us, we're privileged, again, Rich, to be near Tiger Woods. Disappointing day for him yesterday. What did you make of his performance?
You know, I think that what happened on the first hole yesterday with unfortunately finding that divot, you know, starting off with a double bogey at the old course at St Andrews, that's a punch in the gut. Yeah. Really it is. So for him to have to kind of fight back after that, you know, I know he bogeyed 3 and 4 after that, and didn't birdie 5, but you know, I think it's just the bad break on the first hole that just kind of sets the tone of the day. You know, Radar
really
was with him.
Wasn't it?
Radar was with him, you know, and it said that it looked like he was swinging okay. It's just, you know, some of the shots didn't end up as he wanted, and that's the nature of this game, unfortunately. But certainly, you know, to struggle as poorly as he did, and it sounds like the putter wasn't very good yesterday either. Again, I go back to the legs, you know, and I think in order to putt well, you have to have stable lower body, stable legs where you feel strong, and when you're kind of fighting that, it's hard.
Yeah. At the moment, he's got a great umbrella. I just spotted the umbrella.
He's got a lot of flex with the umbrella,
which is cool, isn't it? It's super cool. How's he moving this morning?
You know, everything looks good. To be fair, I haven't. You know, I think the motion of the swing right now, what I look at is the feet. And to me, it's kind of the right foot going through impact, because we know that's the damaged leg and the damaged foot. When he can swing and finish all the way where he's balanced over his left foot and that right toe, he's able to bounce on that right toe, I think that's absolutely key for him. When he kind of falls back on that a little bit and he doesn't quite get on the toe completely, see, that one was a good one. There was a couple of wedges earlier where it didn't look like he was getting all the way there and hanging back. I think that's where the pain probably hurts the most. But I think that when he's able to kind of keep the weight on the left side throughout the swing and kind of balance on that all the way through, like right there, he's balanced over his left foot. I'd actually like to see that left foot. I'd actually like to see him roll over just a little bit more on the outside of his foot. Think of like a Jordan Spieth a little bit more. Maybe it would take away some of the pain. To be fair, Di, unless I'd actually had a chance to sit there and chat with him about it.
I know. Yeah.
I'm just like everybody else. I'm guesstimating. I'm doing my best impression of guessing.
They were talking in commentary about, you know, whether he would have had an ice bath this morning or had time for that. I mean, I'm sure the physio would have been on him and they would have been doing everything they can.
I'm pretty sure that they had a game plan for as soon as he came off the golf course last night. You know, obviously that probably got moved back by at least an hour. So I think that they've always going to have a plan of what's going on in his world. And so when he left last night, they knew exactly what was going to happen, whether it's go right to the physio, let's get some dinner first, let's do that, and then our wake-up call might be a little bit earlier tomorrow morning just so we can get a little extra work in. So I think that they've always got a reasonable idea of what's going to happen.
Listen, Rich, you've got a history with Tiger Woods. You beat him at the PGA Championship back in 2002.
Yeah, but he wasn't, you know, it's like, he wasn't very good back then.
Stop.
He only worked,
at the height of his game, you know.
Yeah,
Tell us what was that like? You know, how many shots did you beat him by again?
I beat him by one.
Just the one?
Just the one, and then I think third place was a good 5 strokes behind us as well. So
amazing. What was it like going down the stretch?
You know, to be fair though, I was playing awfully well, and I think that if I look at old leaderboards, when I made the birdie on 13, I looked at the leaderboard across from me, and to me, it looked like I had a 6-stroke lead with 5 to go, and then it was just kind of all about how do I how do I not throw up all over myself in the last 5 holes and fall into the infamy of somebody that that went down the drain. But you know, I was playing so good back then, and I was having so much fun. But and not to be confused, I was seriously nervous. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, I mean, I was never focused on him. I saw him obviously on the range warming up before the round. We passed each other when I was heading the chipping green, and he was heading back to the putting green, and I just, me being me, just blurted out, "Hey Tiger, play well today. Best, you know, good luck." And he kind of looked at me like I had 4 heads, and I don't blame him. I mean, listen, I mean, what competitor walks by another competitor and says, "Hey, good luck today. Play well. You know, have fun." And that was just me, though.
You were being super kind. You were being you, and like you bump into Tiger Woods on the, you know, and I can understand that. I can understand that. It's a fantastic victory for you back in 2002. But did you see his name on the leaderboard on the course?
Of course, yeah,
But was there any
absolutely.
intimidation factor?
Yeah, well, you know, yes and no. I mean, the name was there, but the golf course was also there, and the golf course was truly the thing that you had to beat. And so I saw the name, but I never focused on it. I had to focus on the golf course. I mean, if you think about another player instead of what the task at hand, which is the golf course, then you're focused on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You know, thankfully he wasn't. He didn't get off to a very good start on the back 9. There weren't a whole lot of roars going up, and I got off to an unbelievable start on the back 9. And so, when you don't, I guess part of it, you don't hear the roars going up. It kind of probably helps you focus even more on the task at hand. I think that if there had been a few more roars, that might have been different. But, you know, listen, I played well. I played my game. I wasn't focused on him. I did what I was supposed to do, and that's take care of business on the golf course and wherever the chips may fall at the end of the day. But, no, I saw his name. That's it's kind of hard not to. But at the end of the day, I think that the golf course was so difficult, you had to concentrate on that more than anything else.
Yeah. How much has Tiger changed as a player since 2002?
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, he's gone through, what, 4 different instructors, 3 different instructors at least since that time. I think at that time he had just switched over to Hank Haney from Butch Harmon, which I think all of us were shocked about. I mean, when you were swinging at it as good as he was back in 2000 when he won the Open here by, I think the final tally is won by 862 strokes or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he just steamrolled the field. But, you know, to switch instructors and then to win more majors, and then to figure out, well, I don't like this, and I don't like how I'm swinging here, and go on to somebody else. You know, I find it remarkable. You know, at some point in time, you kind of have to, as any player will tell you, the more instructors you go to, the more things are going to kind of cross-pollinate, and you're going to not quite get a good visual of what one instructor wants. You're always going to take something from the other instructor. And if you go see a 3rd instructor or a 4th instructor, all of a sudden everything they're telling you kind of intertwines a little bit. How do you get rid of all that? You know, and then throw that on top of that, your body starts breaking down a little bit. Listen, obviously he figured it out pretty well because he won the Tour Championship and the Masters after he came back from the back injuries and whatnot. So he obviously is in control of his swing right now, but his swing has changed quite a bit since back in 2002 for sure.
Would you have liked him not to have switched to anybody else and stayed with Butch?
No, I can't say that. I think that's, you know, he's got his own reasons for doing what he did, and you know, I think that everybody goes through changes. I mean, listen, he and Steve Williams were brothers in arms, and all of a sudden, you know, it just didn't work out, and now he's moved on. Everybody changes. Everybody moves on to caddies. Everybody has a different instructor. You know,
and how tempting
just feel like you need something a little bit different in life.
Yeah. Today, I mean, it's an uphill battle for him. What are you expecting from him today?
No, I think certainly a heck of a better score.
Yeah.
I kind of think even with this rain, I think it's good for him. I think it's going to slow the golf course down, because I think now he'll be able to control the golf ball. We saw a lot of guys yesterday trying to take driver out and try and attack the golf course. He kind of laid back with some irons and tried to control the golf ball, and that's what he loves to do, and that's what he did so well in 2000. I think today's going to be a much better day for him. It would not shock me at all to see him shoot under par today, Di.
Okay, great stuff. Great stuff. I really want to see that. For now, we're going to have that cup of tea that no one's sending down to us, and head back to you in the commentary box.
Or a keg.
Or a keg. We want a keg.
A keg of tea.
Be nice. Lovely. And a packet of biscuits.
Tea and biscuits, that would be an absolute dream today. With a wee dram and some soup, just to top it all off. You can tell I'm a little bit hungry, Radar.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Beamer talking about kegs. Tea.
The wind is not really picking up. Rain is still pretty constant, and Tiger is still grinding away. 21 appearances, 3 wins, 2/3 and 10 top 10s. I would say that's above average.
Slightly.
Good play. I think he'll go far in this game. He's got his little schnood on. So one thing about St Andrews is it arrived here on Sunday, which was the hottest day ever in Scotland. And now it feels like it's November. And this afternoon's probably going to feel like it's summer again. So he's moving on to his long irons, probably going to be a 4 iron, 3 iron there, 220 carry.
And teeing it up. Interestingly, there you go, I got it out eventually. Why, Peter?
I mean, I imagine that he's rehearsing a few tee shots here. And like I said, the fairways are still running, so you know, your 210, 220 carry, it's still going to be rolling out to 230, 240, which you're going to need on a few of the par 4s. Probably the first again. Hopefully he doesn't find a massive crater like he did yesterday. I just want to see him, like, see there with the launch 11 degrees and apex of about 100 foot. You just want to rip out stinger, don't you? About 50 foot off the ground.
You feel as though if he's going to shoot a 66 and have a chance of playing on the weekend, he has the day for it. No one in this field today will worry about some drizzle. They won't worry about the rain. It's not rain, it's just like a mist, a wet mist. And there's not a lot of wind around. You can see that flag just there. It's not that bad. Today, he has a chance, but we need him to get off to a flyer. We need him to be 2 under after 5.
I'm trying to tap into your positivity radar. I just can't quite see it.
No.
Just can't quite see it. I mean, obviously you were following him round yesterday, so I can only really judge it on what I saw on the coverage, but what was his body language like out there? He seemed just a bit flat.
Yeah, I had a chat with him out there.
Yeah.
He was absolutely fine. I mean, he's one of those guys. Look, expectation. He expects a lot, but Tiger Woods. One of the reasons he's such a great champion is because of patience. He sees it as a marathon, not a sprint, and he knows that there was every chance he was going to come here and not make the cut. He knows that. He doesn't care about that. He just thinks to himself, okay, I'm 46 years of age. Between now and 50, I can play another 20 majors. Now, that is a lot of majors. If he can get himself right, which I believe he can, but if he continues to play and do more and more damage whilst the foot isn't 100%, it can't be a great thing. You might see a stinger right here.
Just peeling off a few fairway woods. So this is the first hole here at St Andrews. I think a fairway wood off the tee today with the wind and the slightly colder temperature. Probably not a bad play. Do you think that, or did Ian?
I'd be surprised if we see him with not a lot of wind hit a wood. I think he'll hit a little low stinger iron and scuttle it down there. Hopefully not into the same divot.
No.
And the flag's tight right to the front, which I was just in the green room speaking to Nick Faldo, and both of us, we've never seen the flag where the pin position where it is today on 1. And we aren't seeing a lot of birdies. We're seeing a lot of people pump it behind the flag too far, 40 feet. And I saw 4 people this morning 3-putted, because a lot of people with the putt from behind the flag down the hill, they feel as though it's going to go left to right, but it actually waltzes the other way. And so I'd like to see Tiger play a little back today. I'm pretty sure we'll see that. So he'll have a shot from around 120, 130. So if he can get some action and land at 15, 16 feet behind it, he can zip it back to it. But the closer you get there, it's going to be a funky little delicate shot. So I can't see that.
Yeah, you can see on the graphic there, 250 yards is the rollout to get to the burn. So most of these players are going to be hitting a shot which just simply can't reach that, just in case they do have a little snipey one off to the right-hand side. And you are right, Radar. I think laying back further today is going to be the right play, because you don't want to be... If you're too close, you really don't want to be firing it close to that burn, do you?
No, it becomes fiddly and you can't get any spin with it. Sure, you can get delicate with it, but it's ever so risky, and he needs to take risks today. But, you know, he can go out there today and shoot 66. I believe he can, but will he? Oh, I don't know.
I know. I don't feel like we're being overly positive.
We hope.
I feel I'm...
No, I'm being more positive than you.
I feel I'm dragging the mood down a little bit.
No,
okay,
you're okay.
I need to get on board. I need to get on board with Tiger. Right, come on.
This job's all about opinions.
So the Sim fairway wood. So this is going to be his 3 wood. He's got an M5 5 wood in the bag as well. And then he'll be moving on to the big stick very soon. Hit the longest drive of the day yesterday.
Down 14. The group in front actually called them up from the tee down in the fairway. That was interesting. A little slow, that 14th yesterday, the par 5.
It was very interesting yesterday. I mean, 600 plus yard par 5, and the amount of wedges I saw being hit into the green for the second shot. Not sure I'd see that before. So it's just going to be working up through the bag again. What was the plays off the tees yesterday? Do you see many fairway woods in play, or was it just irons and drivers?
Going out, they were all drivers. Yeah. I think we got to 7, and he pulled it way left in a bunker over there on his way to making a quick double. But going out with the wind out of the left with a little bit of hurt in it, you couldn't hit anything else bar the driver. And then coming home down breeze, it was actually the same kind of thing. It wasn't a day yesterday because it was a vile day wind-wise. It was you had to play aggressively off the tee because it was so very difficult. So today's going to be a little difficult, a little more different. The golf course is more gettable, and we'll see better scoring today. I'm not sure we'll see a better score than 8 under, but we'll see a heck of a lot more scores under par.
Yeah, the early starters yesterday had a big advantage with the conditions. I mean, with the Open, it is one of the things that people do talk about, you know, which side of the draw that you're on. Is that a real thing? Do you think that really does make a massive difference?
Massive. You know, if you're on the right side of the draw, everyone who plays in the Open, you want to be on the right side of the draw. Sure, it doesn't work out like that. I remember my first Open here in 1984. Yes, I am that old. Sevy's year. I teed off day 1 at 4:20.
Oh, wow.
In the afternoon. It was windy in the morning. And out I went and shot a really good score, like, I don't know, 68 or something. I was only 21. And you hit off at 4:20 in the afternoon, and the wind just died. And out I went. And it was magnificent. But it can be the other way. You can go here at St Andrews, you can go out into the breeze, and then all of a sudden you get to 11 where you turn back, or 12, and then all of a sudden you're back into the breeze. So you can have a fun time in that respect, but it can turn the other way as well. But today is not going. Look at the wind there. It is just as nice as you want to get it right now. Forget about the rain. They say that is going to subside, so we will see some good scoring today.
What's that like walking down the 18th at St Andrews, first Open? I'm guessing that was into the evening, sun setting.
It wasn't sun. It was night. I mean,
I
teed off at 4:20, and you play 5.5 hours here. I'm walking up the last at 10 o'clock at night. I didn't know what was going on, really. I was 21 years of age. My mum used to put me to bed at 9:30, and it was like I didn't know what was happening. Look at that little fella. He's loving it.
I was going to say, talking about going to bed early, I think he'll be pretty knackered by the end of today.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of that hat.
I love the dummy. Maybe you could loan it to a few players get ready for the dummy spit.
Okay, on to the big stick. This is what we want to see. Yeah, the ball wasn't exploding off the face on the range yesterday. And the ball speed was up around 170, 175. I don't think he was going full throttle at it, though.
He's always working towards something, though, Tiger. He's one of those guys. He's always thinking about, okay, well, today he's working on having a good score today, yeah, but there's always something in there for the future, and whether it's short game or... He doesn't change too much, but I feel as though the swing has changed, obviously, with the back operation, the knees, as you were rightly saying, Pete, and the ankle. The swing is bound to change. It is bound to change. But I feel as though it's a lot different to the swing we saw under the guidance of Butch Harmon in 2000. It's not as elastic. It's not as athletic.
No. I mean, he's gone through like 4 or 5 big swing alterations throughout his career. Always comes out the other side of it winning. So I think he's starting to get to that point in career now where he knows his swing, he knows his game. Like, if he hits a bad shot, he knows exactly why that's happening. Another out of 170. A few grimaces going on this morning. Mind you, it's pretty easy to grimace when the weather's like this.
Yeah, and weather like this will not be great for Tiger's body. He wants warm weather.
Yeah, he's looking at that ball very pensively. Settling in. Go on, give it a whoosh. Still fantastic to see. It really, really is. Absolutely classic swing. Another up at 170, 280 carry. I mean, realistically, on the course, just to give people an idea of what it's actually like out there, Radar, 280 carry. What's that going to be rolling out to out there?
Out there, well, that's going to be a 310er, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is great at his age. Fantastic. You can live with that.
With Open Championships, do you find that because of the amount of roll that you get, that there's more players that can win this? Do you think it's a wider open than some of the other majors?
Absolutely. Every time we come to the old course at St Andrews, it doesn't suit one style of play. Proof is 2015, Zach Johnson. Then we go back to 210 with Louis winning convincingly. I think Louis won by 8. Zach was in a playoff with Leash. And one other. Who was the other one? It was 3 of them, wasn't there? Leash. It'll come to me. Zach Johnson. Well, he was a winner. So if you've got that type of game, as long as you keep it on the fairway and there's fire in the belly of these fairways, anyone can win around here.
Yeah, again, I don't want to be too pessimistic, but it doesn't look very comfortable.
You feel as though he's feeling it?
It does look, yeah. Oh, Radar, tell me nice things. Tell me it's all going to be okay.
For today?
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Oh, no,
He's in pain.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the best things about, these cameras and having this coverage from the range is that you can see what they're going through pre-round, and Tiger is. Oh, it looks like he's going through the ringer before he's even out to play here.
This guy is one seriously tough cookie. What he's been through physically is incredible.
I mean, we are looking at someone who has won a major championship on a broken leg.
Yep.
You don't
Torrey
often,
Pines.
You don't often get that, do you?
No.
Yeah, for around 170 again.
Yeah, this is cold weather.
Yeah. Now, I was hopeful that he was going to make the cut. Right now, I am hopeful that he is going to make it all the way around. I mean, he managed 36 holes Monday, Tuesday. It seemed to be okay. It's obviously quite a flat course, so there's not many inclines. And with the fairways as dry as they are, obviously getting a little bit damper now, the ball's not really setting in any weird lines. It's always rolling to the bottom of the slopes. So that's going to help. So back to the irons. I mean, you've watched... Oh, that grimace. You've watched Tiger for a long time. So routine-wise, he's gone up through the bag to the driver, and now he's going back down the clubs. Why would he be going back down?
I'm just trying to get a feel. He's just hit a few drivers and just wants to get a feeling in his hands and in his body. And he's talking to himself there. Come on, I mean, he's basically, yep, come on, just, you can do this. His father was an army guy, a Marine. It's just, he is a hard cookie. He's just, come on, Tiger, you can do this.
Some positive self-talk, some smiles.
Yep. It's quite sad. I mean, we've all, he's our hero, but he is a normal guy. I can testament to that. He's a wonderful guy. He truly is, and to speak to, and he's just one of us. He's a superstar, and he's just a hard man. He's just anything he would have done in life, he would have succeeded. He's just one of those guys. Don't you hate those guys?
He is an absolute scrapper. I mean, that's the one thing you'd say about you. We've seen him do really superhuman things on the golf course, with clubs and with scores and with the results that he's had. But this is a different type of battle. You know, we're talking about trying to get around, just trying to get round. You know, we're not even talking about shooting amazing scores here. This is a fight of just pure physical attrition today.
So go down to the wedges now.
Yeah.
He might just flick a few, just to get a feel. Yeah, back to the wedges, just a few 100-yarders, maybe a few 60-yarders, just to get the feeling, just to feel the turf with the wedge. And maybe picturing his second shot to number one.
Yeah, I'd be maybe just moving it down into those divots just to, just in case this.
Always just a great wedge player. One of the best.
Yeah, one of the best of all time, wasn't he?
Yep. Spin control, incredible. A man that could take the spin out of the ball, use the spin, release it, dead arm shots. Yeah, he invented it.
It was fantastic to see because, you know, it was a long time ago, you know, that 97 win at Augusta where he absolutely overpowered it, didn't he? He just bludgeoned Augusta to death, really. But he went away from that and learned these wedge shots. You know, this wasn't his natural game before that, was it?
No, it wasn't. You know, the links golf. He first came here in 1995 as a US amateur champion. Got a game here. He played the Scottish Open the week before, and he played well. And he came here and learnt so much about his game, where it was at Carnoustie and here in his first Open, and it was only 2 years later he was winning a major at Augusta. You can learn so much about yourself playing links golf, the purest form of the game. You have to be able to play all the shots.
So you played all over the world. Is this still your favourite type of golf, links?
Yeah. It's well, I like Heathland course. I like British Heathland courses. We've got some Heathland courses back in Australia. I love that kind of stuff. It's the same sort of thing. I love golf courses when they can change dramatically and so quickly. I love golf courses that play fast, where you have to be at your best to be able to hold the high side of the camber, and I love all that. And playing in a little bit of wind, I love that sort of stuff. And this is the home of that. Scotland, England, you've got some great links golf courses, your Birkdales, your Lythams and Heathlands. You've got your Hillside, where the DP World's going next week.
Yeah, I think So these are all Tiger's shots on the range today. And there he goes. So I think we've just seen what club he's going to be hitting off the first. That last shot was an iron, wasn't it? So they've been rehearsing exactly what he's trying, being applauded off the range. And there goes everyone on the grandstand. It just shows you the pull that Tiger still has, you know. A grandstand full on the range as soon as he leaves. So many people getting up. Not stopping to watch Patrick Cantlay there.
Tiger has left the building.
Look at that, dragging everybody with him.
It's everywhere in the world as well.
Yeah. What's the best tactic? Leaving that range, getting to the 4th, 5th, try and pick him up? You're not going to get around the 1st, are you, at this point?
Yeah, line yourself up the right-hand side of number 2, I'd imagine. Yesterday they were 5 deep every hole.
So we've been closely watching Tiger. Let's go see what George has been looking at.
If you're looking for drama, the 17th hole is the place to be. The road hole, so famous and so much fun to watch. We've found Grant Moyer once again, who's going to talk us through how he sets up the pins. There's a lot of details to this, isn't there, Grant? How do you set up an everyday pin?
Well, it's really a case of just looking at the green and trying to bring out the features of the green and create a varied test through the 4 days of the championship. Yesterday we were up sort of middle on the right hand side there, tight to the road, and you can see here today we've gone shorter pin, bringing this false front into place, and with the bunker lurking in the background.
It is a big false front. If you can get quite low here, you can see the undulation. So if the players take this pin on, they really do have to cover this slope. But obviously that bunker's pretty scary, isn't it, Grant? A real big feature of this hole, isn't it?
Absolutely, and we've seen players in there practicing, working out the different shots, the different angles they might have to play from that bunker. So like all the bunkers here, they'll be trying desperately to avoid it.
And as we move around to, well, I guess where the name comes from, the road hole, how do you make sure the fun happens by bringing this into play? How close to this edge can you get?
Well, we probably wouldn't have the hole too close to this edge just because of the slope here, but really it's about the challenge of the second shot. It's a narrow green, so particularly if they're coming from the rough on the left-hand side and trying to take on the green, the chances of slightly overcooking it and ending up down there are quite large, and it's a firm green. So really it's not necessarily the pin position that brings us in, it's just the fact that we've got such a narrow mouth here, and it's always in the mind.
Now the conditions, they're actually not too bad now. It's a bit wet this morning, and for an open, this is no worries for the players. Is there ever an occasion where weather will make you change the pins really late in the piece?
Yeah, we always want to remain flexible. We would change, particularly with the wind. You know, you have to be adjusting for wind conditions. Today's rain, nothing really. I mean, sometimes when it dampens down like this, we would actually tighten the hole positions up a bit. We haven't needed to do too much of that today, but yeah, we always want to stay flexible, adjust if the weather demands it.
How enjoyable is the Open Championship? How enjoyable is the Open Championship for you, being so involved and on the inside and having so much control? It must be so intriguing to watch on the coverage.
I think, you know, all of us that are involved, no matter what we're doing, feel privileged to have that role. You know, the team that are involved in course setup with the greenkeeping staff, with our agronomists, with others from within the R&A. You know, we all love this aspect of the job. We're very fortunate, and you know, to be out here early in the mornings, walking the old course, greatest players in the world, 150th Open. You know, for those of us working in the game, it doesn't get much better.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. Grant Moyer, thanks once again for your time. I'm pretty happy I'm not playing this hole at the moment. It looks pretty tough, so we'll just leave that to the pros.
Cheers, George.
The champion golfer of the year, Tom Watson.
To the next 150 years of Open golfers, respect the game.
Has this desperately difficult third shot to play.
These links courses have been around long before you were born, and will be here long after you're gone. Don't get mad at the wind, the rough, or the bounces. You're in the hands of Mother Nature, after all. Play hard, but play fair. Be known for winning, or losing, in the right way. If you're lucky enough to have your name etched on the Claret Jug, Look at those names before you. Realize that everything has led to this.
And we are back to the range and Jon Rahm. A little bit indifferent yesterday for Jon. One of my favourite swings, though.
Oh, yes. My favourite. I want to go first. I'm going to speak about it first, and then you can have a crack. I just love the way the arms hang and how he stands so close to it. Not a lot of things can happen. It's just up and down, and he bows the left wrist, and it's 3/4, and it's just brute force. He's been out of sorts a little. He won in Mexico a couple of months ago, but either side of that, it hasn't been vintage Rahm.
No.
And but he'll be back once he gets fire in his belly, which he has again now. But look at this. It's just brute force. Everything goes from right to left. It's just not a big knee flex. Stands quite upright. And just power.
Yeah, the way he stands over the ball, it just looks so natural. That's what I absolutely love about the way he looks when he's about to hit it. It's just, you know, it's quite soft. You know, he's not sticking his back out too much. It's not rigid. It's just relaxed. It's just ready to go. Same with his putting as well. That always looks fantastic. So we're going to get down onto the range. Maybe see Jon a little bit close up. But Di, where are you?
Well, surprise, surprise, Pete. I'm on the range where I've been for the last few days, and really, really happy to have Rich with me. And behind us, Jordan Spieth, who tees off at 10:09 in about just under half an hour's time. What did you see from Jordan yesterday? 1 under par?
Yeah, there was a lot of good things out there, I thought. I mean, he was pretty efficient, I think, from tee to green, as a lot of players were. But yesterday afternoon, the greens kind of got this little shine to them. Radar kind of saw the same thing. But I was talking to Jon Rahm's caddy this morning, and there was a lot of holes like right around the cup where, after a lot of traffic, wind, and a mix of sun and clouds, started baking the greens out just a little bit. And so the golf balls, instead of rolling immediately, they were kind of sliding offline. So balls weren't necessarily breaking as much as they were reading into it, because they initially slid off, and so it wasn't kind of grabbing the break as much as they could have. He made a fantastic putt yesterday on 15 for a par save, but it overall it wasn't great on the greens. But I think that this rain today, even though it's the same firmness as yesterday and the same speed, I think there's just going to be the greens are going to be a little bit more receptive, and they're going to be a little bit greener. So the grass is going to go. The grass will definitely help these golf balls roll just a little bit more instead of having the shine yesterday afternoon. So I think, going out today, Jordan's got a heck of a chance of kind of getting that putter back where it needs to be, and one of his best assets.
He's the only, he's got 2 pieces of equipment, 2 bits of tech, giving him a lot of different numbers. Not that many players have tech out at the moment, but he does. Well, so the reason why he's got 2 different pieces, the TrackMan is basically going to be more for the instructor, where the Foresight, the one that's kind of right in front of the golf ball, it's just going to kind of give him the numbers, like how far he's hitting it, launch angle, and then maybe carry distance. There's a couple of different things that they can configure that to, but I think most of the players with that, they just want to know how far it's going, and the TrackMan is going to give the instructor kind of more of the, what was the path like from in to out, what's the spin rate, what was the impact position, things like that. So the data that the TrackMan provides is pretty much more for his instructor, Cameron McCormack, and Jordan just kind of wants to see how far it's going initially, and whatever else that Foresight one right in front of him is spitting out. Yeah, his practice swing, tell us what he's doing at the top of his backswing. Well, he just doesn't want to get it too far laid off, so he was afraid of, he just doesn't want to ever see it go left, and so what he tries to do is he wants to kind of almost get it across the line, and
and a lot of times, actually, you know, he would actually get it. He would get it too far across the line, then he'd overcorrect coming back. So I apologize. I didn't want to get it across the line. He wants to kind of get it back out behind him just a little more, so the golf club never has a chance to kind of get out in front of him, which would then cause it to go left. And you know, that one right there was a little bit of a draw, but that might have been planned too. It was more of a draw instead of a pull over to the left-hand side. So, you know, just trying to keep the golf club out in front of him, more trying to keep the width up as well, which is you know, which is important to these guys. It's you know, everybody, all these players have their little idiosyncrasies. You know, the small things that always pop up that that show up, and the instructors are just trying, you know, especially this week, try and keep it basic. Try and keep working on the same things they have been for the last, you know, year or two. There's no reason to come out this week and try and, and rebuild anything. This is just more about trying to make sure that what you're doing is solid. Just keep the ball position, the posture, all of that. Make sure it's in good form. Now, other guys will get a little bit more specific and technical, which Jordan will certainly be one of them, but I don't think that they're actually trying to do a whole heck of a lot out of the blue, if nothing else.
It's such a deliberate practice swing beforehand, isn't it? It really is for viewers at home to see.
It's a little bit on the. It's very interesting, that's for sure, and it's a specific feeling right there. So when he goes, he gets that first movement is practice swing when he kind of gets that club going out away from him down. Basically, he's trying to keep the width up. He's trying to keep that golf club going away from him. Instead of having to fall back down closer to his body inside, he wants it kind of away from him a little bit.
How long has he been doing that for?
Wow, that's, you know, I think he started with that practice swing about, I want to say we first saw it at the first part of last year. And everybody was like, what in the world is going on here? But, you know, it seems to work. You know, the interesting thing about it, I remember his swing back when he was playing really good back in 2015 and 16. It was always pretty much on plane. It didn't look, there was no those movements right there, just like it was going straight back and the club was pointing straight down the line and whatnot. But I think after a while, you know, you, as a player and as a person, I think you just get, you know, physically stronger. So you kind of have to make some concessions to what it is that that you're working on, because your body changes, and when your body changes physically, you kind of have to make those small little changes along with it. So. You know, it's just one of those things where you kind of have to change with the times and whatnot. As much time as they're on the road, because it'd be a lot longer, a lot more time on the road than he ever spent in college, and even I think first on tour. I mean, once you start winning majors, people want a little more of your time. So, you know, but still, the great thing about Jordan, around the greens yesterday, I saw some remarkable touch shots from around the green with these wedges. You know, the one behind number 12 sticks out in my mind because he had this little gorse bush right behind him, and he kind of had to manufacture something, and he just got so steep on the back of it, he hit this thing. I
saw that.
And it never got more than about 6 inches off the ground, kind of scooted up there, and all of a sudden just went, just grabbed like this, and just laid out. I'm going, now that's pretty slick. So yeah, it was fun to watch.
Yeah, it's really brilliant to watch. And I was walking through the Spectators Village then, and everyone was literally looking at the big screen going, wow, this is incredible. Okay, so Jordan Spieth, first round, 1 under par. What can he do today? But for now, let's get over to George.
And here he is, TW Tiger Woods. It's time for round 2. There they are, the big cat. Morning, Joe. How are you? In the zone. 6 over par yesterday. Can he give the people what they want? Can he fight back to make the cut? It's going to be around that 1 over even par mark. There he is. Come with me. I've got a shortcut. Come on. Oh, careful. Staircase there. Yesterday, Tiger found himself in the creek, doubling the first. It was tough to watch. And as we come through here, as you can see, when Tiger's around, so are the fans. It turns into a frenzy of Tiger watch. Oh, sorry guys, thank you, excuse me. And then we come through here. The Open needs Tiger to do something today. Good morning, how are you? Fantastic. Can he provide? 3 birdies yesterday, but naturally the crowds have just sprung out of nowhere. 6 over. We need to get somewhere around here today, Tiger. That'd be nice. Morning, boys. Morning. How are you? Morning. And here we go. We'll park up here as he slowly makes his way to the putting green. Could this be the last time we see Tiger Woods tee off on the first at St Andrews? To his left, Matthew Fitzpatrick, recent US Open champion. He's running the beanie option today. It's cold, but not sure it's that cold, Matty boy. An even par round for him. Slightly frustrating, couldn't quite get anything going. Conditions are pretty good at the moment for this morning crowd. There was a bit of rain early, but it has since cleared. Tiger's got the wet weathers on. Look at all the phones come out in the crowd. Everyone wants their slice of Tiger. Nice lag putt. Nice lag putt. Can he get inside that? Oh, a little bit more. Come on, get up. Get up. In the clown's mouth. Looking rugged up, looking warm. Needs to keep that back nice and warm. Is that a snood? Little wee snoody's running under there. Tiger did miss a couple of short ones yesterday. Pulled one ferociously to the left. Very unexpected miss midway through the round. But if he keeps rolling them like that, I think all the punters will be happy. He's off at 9:58. He's made good time to the tee. There he is, stretching that back. Really working it. Needs to keep that middle section of his nice and flexible, nice and warm. One thing we noticed yesterday was Tiger watching everyone tee off in the group in front, trying to gauge the wind, but not as much to worry about here today. He normally gets on this putting green and goes straight into the long range putts, getting his distance control in check. And that looks pretty in check to me. Yes! What a beauty. An absolute beauty. But there we have it. If you're watching from home, if you're watching live on the range, get ready, get comfy, because Tiger Woods is about to tee off for his second round. What will he do today? I think there's around 50,000 people here at St Andrews hoping we see some birdies.
So Tiger is just about to head out for his round. Some early moves being made. Taylor Gooch and Siwoo Kim. Paul Casey playing some pretty solid stuff. And Dustin Johnson strolling around like nothing bothers him at all. Victor Hovland played sneaky well yesterday, I thought. He managed to get one of the best pars I've ever seen, taking a penalty drop in a bunker. Cameron Young still leading the way. Think he's going to be able to back this up today, Radar?
Yeah. Oh, I don't think he'll shoot 8 under. I don't think he'll be 16 under come this evening. But this boy, I watched him over there at the Genesis at Riviera Country Club earlier in the year. We go there and do that on Sky, and He was impressive. He ran second in the championship, and I walked off, and I said to one of my fellow commentators, Rich Beam, I said, "You've got a champion here in Cameron Young, a son of a PGA pro up there in the New York area. He's a proper player, this guy. Do not be surprised at all if he's kissing the old Claret Jug come Sunday evening."
And up there as well, Robert Dinwiddie. Really nice story, actually. He worked through the pandemic as a labourer, didn't really play much golf, and came through qualifying. And here he is on the range, 5 under, first page of the leaderboard. I think it's one of the best things about the Open, the fact that there's so many different stories and so many people who can qualify through the different routes.
Absolutely, yeah. Saw the jigger in there. Been in there a few times.
Not this week, though.
No.
Being very professional this week.
He's not there yet.
Yeah.
It's clearing the rain.
It is.
And if the rain goes away, maybe the wind will lie down. And maybe we might just see a 63. I think we'll see someone do as well as Young did yesterday. Better? I'm not so sure.
No. I mean, I think that was it was a standout score yesterday, wasn't it? So someone's going with half a broomstick down the range. Oh, some enthusiastic stretching going on. There's some routines going on out there, isn't there? Crikey, look at that.
I know.
Okay.
Stand back. Well.
There it is again.
It's
just to tease us.
It's just the star performer in the background.
Oh, it's
there,
just the jigger in. It's the right next to the road hole.
I don't know what it was like when you got down to the 17th yesterday, but it was a little bit rowdy. I was hearing quite a bit of cheering.
Not so much when I was with Tiger last night at about 9:30 going up there. It was 9 o'clock. It wasn't so rowdy. There was a few stragglers, as there are in the old town of St Andrews. One of my great mates who passed away, Shane Warne, the great cricketing legend, that was one of his favourite haunts, bless him. He loved it in there, the jigger in. Old Warnie.
So while we wait for Dinwiddie to come onto the range, we're going to hop over to Nick, who's having a look at one of the leaders.
Two-time major champion Dustin Johnson was off to a great start on the opening day of the 150th Open, a 68 to begin. And we're going to use our Sky Scope technology to look at the former world #1's driver swing. One of the big assets in his game, of which there are plenty. You don't win what he's won 24 times on the PGA Tour without plenty going right. This is how he stands over his driver, and he is a big man. We're going to talk about how he does what he does, but also how he generates so much power. What can we learn from it? Well, when you see him at address, he looks beautifully poised and ready to go. Quite a strong left-hand grip. And we're going to move in on this grip to look at something he does, a nice little trigger to start his swing. So watch this little bump forward with the hands. And you can see this little trigger allows him to get things underway. Golf is a static sport until we have to move, and when we move quickly. So to get it started can sometimes be a problem. Dustin does it this way. And with that, he also picks the club up off the ground. I like that. When you hover the club before you take it away, it primes the body ready to move it, and it can lead to a much smoother move off the ball rather than it being sat on the ground. It can sometimes feel a bit staccato the start of the swing, something we can all use, that one. So what we're going to focus on here is why he hits it a long way. He is a big man, 6'4", a huge arc to his golf swing, and we're going to see that as we wind him up to the top of his swing. And the circle he is starting to draw there is really wide, and as we know, the wider the circle, the faster the outside will be moving. So yes, his height is an advantage. He also has really long arms and a huge shoulder turn and stretch to the top, super high with his hands and arms in the swing. Why is that? Well, his dad, Scott, told him to just go work it out when he was a kid, and DJ thought, if I'm going to hit it straight, well, I want the club face to be pointing at the target for as long as possible. Starts to make sense now why he gets this more shut-looking club face. And he wanted to swing it more on the line that he's trying to hit it. So his arms ended up being really high. So he's just a product of his environment. It's very much his own swing, but it has a huge arc, high hands, and you can see where the power is going to come from. Also, look at the amount of turn. He has no restriction in that backswing. Turns into that right hip there. As we move around him, we're going to see a big part of DJ's swing that we all know, we recognise for all of the years he's been one of the best players in the game. And we look at him at the top of the swing. Have a look at that gloved hand, but actually have a look at the wrist. A huge amount of flexion in it. And with that flexion in that wrist, we also get to see that club face that is looking straight up at the sky. Now, if you gave that club face to most players on the tour, well, they wouldn't be on the tour for very long, because it is how you deal with that that makes him a great player, and it's all about that match-up situation once more. So for him, with this strong club position, it's all about what he does now. So as we start to bring him down, and again, he starts to move down into that delivery, that position with that strong club face is maintained here. So as we see him coming into the slot to bring the club down to the ball, still pointing down at the ground, a lot of the old school sort of players, think of someone classic like an Ernie Els, beautiful swing, toe would have been up in this position. This would allow for a lot more arm swing through strike. With DJ, he can't afford to do that. He stabilises this club face by turning really hard with his body, and he can hold on to that angle with his arms to square it up. In fact, if he lets his arm swings past him, he'll hit quite a lot of shots to the left-hand side. So the key for DJ from this position, turn, 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 stabilises the club face, and another key to that power, he's hitting it with the middle of his body, the big strength in his body, and you can see now, huge arc, big turn with the body, the power starts to make sense. Let's send him through to this position. You can see fully unloading up into that lead leg and then through to the finish. Beautiful poise, huge arc, great body turn. It's a swing that's his own, but when you look at the efficiency of it, you can see why he's won so much and is, in the end, two-time major champion.
Great stuff again there from Nick. As we go to a wide shot on the driving range. Not many people in the stands now kind of heading out onto the golf course. Still some brave souls. And here is Keegan Bradley. We were chatting before about Jon Rahm looking very natural at the golf ball. Not sure Keegan Bradley looks the most natural at times.
No, his hands seem to be becoming lower and lower. Or driver's getting shorter.
He might be growing.
Yeah.
Late spurt.
Major champion. He knows how to play.
He's an interesting player, Keegan Bradley, teeing off at 10:30 today. Won that major. It was obviously won a few times on tour as well. Always seems to be making cuts. Just doesn't seem to challenge enough as he probably should do.
No, probably not. I think he's won 3 times on tour, one of them being a major. Remember he had the back-offs? Remember he kept on backing off and twisted. Look at this, he's a fidgety player. He used to back off all the time. I like to move it all over the time. It was like you get him in slow motion. It was, but a fine player.
Yeah, he does a lot of work with Bob Rotella, and his whole idea behind all the fidgeting was to try and make him a lot more reactive. So, like when you get over the ball, sometimes you stand into it, you stood still for quite some time, you get all the thoughts going through your head, don't go left, don't go right, don't top it. I think we all can relate to that, but what Keegan was doing is just fidgeting in there, just trying to feel like he's more reactive, as you would be with other sports.
I love Bob Rotella stuff. Brad Faxon's big on Bob Rotella. Instinct golf.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aaron Badley. A lot of them work with Bob Rotella, rightly so.
And I believe Di is down at the short game area. Di?
Thanks, Pete. Just trying to control my umbrella and not get in the way of Rich Beam here. We're just down here, and Rob Dinwiddie is over my right shoulder in the bunker. He had a great round yesterday, 5 under par, finished late last night, Rich, but just one of the many storylines here at the Open. He qualified down the road a couple of weeks ago at the Fairmont. Really fantastic story. I know him from down south and applies his trade on the Challenge Tour. 5 under par in the first round of an Open. He's only played in a couple of Opens before. Last one was 2017. Played here in 2015 and missed the cut. And we were speaking before we came on camera, and during COVID didn't really play much golf, was a labourer. What does this say about the Open Championship, with all the different qualifications going on, allowing someone to be able to get into this great championship?
Well, I think that's what this championship's been all about. I think over the years, I think it's brought so many people from around the world into view of the international scene. And I just think that this, I mean, that's another great story about how someone, 39 years young, and had to make sacrifices a couple years back to basically make ends meet and whatnot. And golf hadn't been treating him very well, but took a break from it, and I think he also learned a new appreciation for it. I think he came back maybe with a different focus, a different hunger, because if he enjoyed doing something else for a living, he wouldn't have come back to golf. But, what I've seen from him going more than anything else is the fact that he really has been keeping the golf ball on the ground as best he can. He hit a bunch of chips from the other side of the green, really not lofting them up a whole lot at all, really just keeping them low on the ground, playing these shots kind of like you would expect to, along the ground, running, hopping, traveling, and there hasn't been any lob shots, nothing going straight vertical. So I've been fascinated watching him for the last 15 minutes. It's been great.
Yeah. He's such a talented guy. His maiden professional win was on the Challenge Tour in Scotland, so some great memories coming back to this part of the world. I spoke to him the other day, and is that actually stopped raining? I think it stopped raining, hasn't it? I'm going to take my umbrella down. I spoke to him the other day. His brother's here, who was his caddy. His brother said, he sacked me at the beginning of the year, but he's now his manager. His dad was up here. They were out late Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. His caddy said, he had me out grafting at 9 o'clock at night. He's a talented guy and working incredibly hard. Hey, it paid off. If he was out here late every day, he knew that his tee time was going to be late one of the days, right? Seriously, I think that's a great way of doing it. I think that going out there and spending time late in the evening, that it shows that he was practicing in the elements that he was expecting to. So I think that what he did to prepare was brilliant, because obviously it paid off with a 67 yesterday. Yeah. And I think sometimes you have to do that. Like when I played here, I knew that I was going to be one of the first few groups out because of the simple fact that I was a quick player. And so it was, I would go out there first thing in the morning. I'd try and get out there, hit it by about 7 a.m. Now, the downside is that I would have to, I'd have the rest of the day off. I mean, idle time for me was never great, so I spent too much time on the practice range afterwards, and then even that, kind of wandering around the towns that we were in and whatnot. But, I think that's what the great thing about this tournament is the fact that, or championship, I should say, is that it exposes and it brings so many people that you wouldn't know about and these great stories to the game. And I think that the one with Robert is absolutely sensational. I got to say hats off to him. And he did, again, I love the fact that he came out late every afternoon, evening, and just it was practicing late, knowing full well this is going to be when he was going to be out there playing. Yeah, I've seen him so many times. I've watched Rob play quite a lot on the Challenge Tour, and I'm absolutely delighted for him to come into this and shoot a first round 5 under par. His dad was all smiles after the round yesterday, and he started with a birdie, Rich, and finished his round with a birdie. Always a great way to finish. We know that 18 was playing the easiest of all the holes yesterday, but almost had a birdie on 17, which we never really see many birdies on the road hole ball. Just missed out on that one. Again, you talk about, what it was like for some of the players yesterday afternoon. It was 6+ hours for these guys, and it's probably even longer for this, the final groups. And it got cold, it got dark, it got uncomfortable. And so for him to be able to go out there and understand what the conditions are going to be like late in the evening, hats off to him, because nobody truly tees off at 4:15 in the afternoon and finishes at about 9:30. I mean, probably closer to 10 o'clock.
Not unless that you live up in this part of the world and you're just
yeah.
It's just a different thing you do. So hats off to him for taking the time and doing the prep workout like he did.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to move over this side and just take a look at what Rob's working on right now. So he started short game area. We know that Tiger likes to start short game area, then come to the driving range. What did you used to do?
Yeah, kind of depended on where the practice green was, kind of where everything was situated, and sometimes, you know, what tee I started off. But, you know, normally driving range first, and then chipping green, and then putting green. That was kind of the normal program at all. But I think today he probably went to the putting green first, then went to the pitching, and then here, and then once he gets over the first tee, there's a small putting green there where he'll be able to practice hitting putts for 10, 15 minutes. So I think that it just kind of depends on how everybody feels, but I can see why he would do that.
So, Rich, I'm going to throw his world ranking at you. 1,779th in the world to come to the Open and shoot 5 under first round.
The golf ball doesn't care what your world ranking is. Seriously. I mean, it doesn't matter. The golf ball only knows where it's hit and where it ends up. And so I think that for him to go out and shoot 500 par, I mean, obviously the gray matter between your ears at the end of the day is going to take over at some point.
Yeah.
Listen, you don't get to this level, you don't play in this championship without being some kind of player.
Yeah.
I mean, you really don't. And so it's no surprise to see somebody that's that down in the world ranking just because of the state of the world the last couple of years.
Yeah.
That he's come out and playing well. Obviously, he has been putting time in on his game, not just being a worker.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was so impressed with him being so cool, calm and collected. He's multi-talented, and fingers crossed for Rob Dinwiddie today. Okay, let's get back to the guys in the box and see what they're up to. Over to you.
Thanks, Di. We are just sat here admiring Mr. Dinwiddie's swing. It's a great story, and coming through qualifying is one of the hardest things to do, really. Those nerves and everything else. When you qualified for the Opens, Radar, were you kind of in automatically? Did you go through qualifying?
Bit of both, half and half. I had to do qualifying, which was back then we used to have the Scottish Open, and Sunday and Monday would be the qualifying events, and it was pretty easy. Well, it wasn't easy to get in, but you'd have 120 players, which you knew 50 of them were trying their hardest, and you were a seasoned pro. You had 13 spots out of the 110 or 120. You fancied your chances. Sure, I didn't get in all the time, but a lot of them. But that Dinwiddie, he had a great US Open the year Tiger won with that broken leg you were describing back at Torrey Pines. He had a really good US Open. He's a good player, Dinwiddie. He's a very good player and one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. We are a dying race.
Yeah, he was actually born up in Dumfries, just on the other side of Scotland, then moved down to England. He actually played here in 2015 and missed the Cup. He's worked as a labourer for his friend's construction firm during the pandemic. He's had quite a busy few years.
He's a grafter, a journeyman. We're cheering him on. Good grip, strong grip. Look at that swing. It's really good.
Nice.
Not the only good player to come from Dumfries. A Ryder Cupper, Andrew Coulthard, come from the same part of the world.
Must be something in the water.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I have to work with him every week.
Talk about water, get some hydration in. It is one of the really best things about the Open is you do get stories like this. You know, after 2 rounds of pretty much every Open I can remember, there's 2 or 3 really just interesting players that most players don't really know about. I think that's probably something to do with the links courses, something to do with the draw as well, like you were saying.
Yeah, and it's look, especially here. Stephen Bottomley ran 3rd or 4th in this championship, a guy from up there at Yorkshire, and you know, this golf course doesn't suit one style of play. That's what makes the old course so very special.
Yeah, there's that strong grip. So we saw Jordan Spieth earlier. And Henny is in the open zone, analysing the swing.
Jordan Spieth is such a fascinating golfer to watch, not just for his results on the golf course and the roller coaster that he's been on over the course of the last few years, but the incredible cerebral way in which he approaches the game, and in particular his swing. He's one of those rare golfers that gives us an insight into exactly what he's working on at any given point. And luckily here at the open zone, we have our sky scope, so we can bring Jordan right in and analyse a little closer exactly what he's trying to achieve right now. Before I get him underway, I'm going to demonstrate his practice movement, which looks a little bit funky. It's a bit unique. Let's remember that what he's feeling isn't exactly what he's doing in his swing, but what he's trying to feel is to get the club a little steeper on the way back. You'll see his elbows really close together, club out in front of him, and then a big shallowing on the way down. So you'll see a movement looking something like this. It's quite pronounced. Now, why does he do that? Let's start with the bowed wrist. That's a product of his weak grip. If he had a strong grip, that would result in a wrist cupping at the top, but a weaker grip typically results in the wrist being bowed. Now, his coach, Cameron McCormack, said that he's trying to set his wrist early and then try and get it a little bit steeper on the way back to allow for that wonderful shallowing movement that he does. So if we take him up, we'll see that the elbows getting close together and this getting out in front of him, that's to get the club a little steeper. Now, if I were to widen my elbows out, you'll see what happens, that the club gets stuck behind me. Now, the problem with that is if you shallow from back here, the club gets stuck behind you and you get that big high right miss. So he needs to be a little steeper on the way back to allow for that movement. Now, when he gets halfway down, you'll see that when he does it right, this right arm gets tucked nicely into his hips as they opened up. That's the slot. That's what he's looking for. From there, he can just turn his hips onto it and it becomes very simple. Cameron McCormack said that that is his safety blanket, that move, that shallowing is what he did so well in 2015 when he won the Masters and the US Open. He obviously did it well in 2017 when he won the Open, and that's exactly what he's trying to do here this week. So Jordan searching for that consistency, which I hope we see from him, but I also hope we see some of those Jordan Spieth fireworks that we love so much.
Okay, let's catch up with George, who is looking at some of the highlights from yesterday.
Well, the day has come. It's time to kick off the 150th Open Championship. There's an electricity in the air that's hard to describe, but I think everyone is ready to get into the action. Here at Today from the Open, we're going to bring you all the highlights. Paul Lawrie had the honour of hitting the first tee shot of this year's Open. The 1999 champion didn't disappoint the early bird fans as he striked the long iron straight down the middle.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to St Andrews, the home of golf. On the tee from Scotland, Paul Lawrie.
Yeah, beauty. The Scotsman was never really threatening the lead, but he saved a special moment on the 18th hole with this tee shot.
I gotta say, I got up early this morning and watched Paul kick off this 150th Open from my hotel room. It was a cool moment.
Oh, that's
and
even
a great
cooler.
shot.
Look at this. My goodness.
Fantastic.
He would convert the eagle putt and finish with a round of 2 over. It was amateur Barclay Brown who really rose to the occasion this morning. Unfazed by the big dance, he looked cool, calm and collected, with the highlight of his round coming on the challenging 17th.
How cool is this for this young amateur? Oh my goodness. That's how you celebrate making a 3. You have no idea, young man, how Yeah, I just made 3 at 17, no problem. Yeah, that's all right.
Brown narrowly missed another birdie on the final hole and finished with a 4 under 68, a great opening day for the young amateur.
I felt as I expected, certainly at the start of the round, very nervous, but yeah, I think probably managed to get a few more putts to go in than I maybe thought, and just kept it maybe just a little more solid, and obviously produced a good round.
Ian Poulter had a bit of fun with the crowd after this absolute monster eagle putt on the 9th.
We'll call this an outside chance.
Ball racing across the green. Oh, come on.
Goodness.
Good gracious. Ian Poulter. That's right. It's hard to see from over there.
Aussie Cam Smith carded around a 5 under 67, and if he keeps sinking putts like this, it could be his week.
Hello. Oh, Cam dialing it up from long distance.
Rory then hit the ground running after converting a long birdie putt on the first hole.
How good is the touch early on?
It looks really good.
Very good. How about that start?
What a start from McIlroy. A birdie at the opening hole.
Rory caught a tough break on the 3rd after hitting a stake in the middle of the fairway, but the Irishman kept his composure and went on to shoot back to back to back birdies on 5, 6 and 7.
So precise with that. Oh, he sent the club right onto the ball there.
That was fabulous.
The fan favourite finished strong with a tap-in birdie to card a 6 under 66. It was an ideal way for him to start his campaign.
I think anytime you shoot 66 in the first round of any golf tournament, I don't think you're going to be too far away. You know, I've obviously come in here playing nice golf, and it was great to get off to a good start. I hasn't been my strong suit the last few seasons, but the last 3 majors, the PGA, US Open, and now here, you know, I've gotten off to a really, really nice start, and you know, it's all you can ask for.
It was American Cameron Young who set the links alight today. He posted an impressive 64 to establish himself as the clubhouse leader.
Six under.
Nice burn line. Can get it onto the plateau there. Wow, easy.
How about that?
And on his Open debut, it is a dream start for Cameron Young.
I think we worked our way around the golf course really well. I don't think that I played a perfect round of golf. I think it just kind of, I scored really well. And I think we thought our way around kind of the way you have to out there.
Tiger Woods would have preferred to play the first hole all over. After getting some dust in his eyes, he had to look up and see his ball go in the water.
This has got to go.
In the divot, in the drink for Tiger Woods.
The 3-time champion golfer of the year didn't have the ideal start, and he'll have to work hard to make the cut. World #1 Scotty Scheffler showed exactly why he is top of the pops. His consistency is unmatched, and here he is for another birdie.
Oh, going, 2 in a row for the world #1.
So there you have it. The day is done and dusted. What a day it was. Cameron Young setting the early pace with an 8 under par round. And this guy, not far behind, Rory Mcilroy, 6 under. This Open's going to be good.
Rob Dinwiddie is right behind me on this side, warming up for his second round of the Open Championship. Tee off very shortly. First round 5 under par for the Englishman. Don't forget that round of 8 under par from Cameron Young, who leads the Open Championship at the moment. We've been live on the range since 7:30 this morning, bringing you all the insights, all the analysis from the 150th Open Championship. It's been brilliant. The rain has stopped. It was a little bit breezier a little bit earlier on, but it's flat calm at the moment. Perfect conditions for some low scoring. John Morgan will be with me this afternoon. We will be back for live at the range at midday today. We've got 3 hours of coverage for you from all of us. We will see you in an hour and a half's time.